Morning, Raptor Freak Alexiot's here. Saturday morning, the Raptors are back in Toronto to play a single game in Toronto in the middle of a bunch of road games against the Denver Nuggets tonight. It's going to be an interesting game. I really feel good about us winning tonight and getting 9 wins in a row, mainly because Denver played last night against Boston in Boston, and they got beat by Boston. And it was really interesting how Boston beat them. I really feel like we can replicate a lot of the good things that Boston did against the Nuggets last night. And the main thing that really won the game for the Celtics was causing turnovers. Like, they caused 21 turnovers on Denver last night, and it was really the hardest thing they had to overcome. So Denver's susceptible to turnovers, and Jokic himself personally is really susceptible to turnovers. He had 9 turnovers by himself last night. So we really, really need to pester them, get after them, get our hands in there, get deflections, get steals, get blocks, because Denver is susceptible to turnovers. And if we get a lot of turnovers on them tonight, we could find an easy way to win, hopefully. This is the other thing I've noticed about Denver recently is they're playing against either really good teams or bad teams. And what's happening is they're beating the bad teams. They're having no trouble beating teams like Detroit, teams that have worse records than them. But every team that they play that's kind of good, they lose to. And they've actually had a little bit of a losing streak recently that's shown that they can lose to pretty good teams. Because the way I look at it, in my mind, I think of Denver from the last couple years. Jokic, Murray, so many good players. But Murray isn't there, y'all. He tore his ACL. He's been out this whole season. He's not available. And that's the difference, is that Murray puts them into the higher echelon with Phoenix and Golden State in the Western Conference. And without Murray, they become a team very similar to where we are in the standings on the other side, exactly in the same spot. That position, the 6th position, just above the play-in. And that means they're kind of in the middle. And in some ways, this Denver game is very equitable in a way to the Minnesota game and the New Orleans game that we have to see still this week before we go to the All-Star break. That they're very similar teams as far as where they are in the standings in the West. Minnesota's right there with Denver. There's not much difference. So we need to take care of these teams. These are teams that are kind of sitting at eye level with us right now. Denver, I really overestimated how good they were this year, but didn't remember that Murray is not playing at all. And that is a huge, huge difference for them. With Murray in the lineup, they're up there with Golden State and Phoenix. Without him, they're in the middle, like right where they are right now. And that means we need to take care of business, especially since we had the night off last night and they had to work their ass off against an aggressive, energetic, streaking Boston Celtics team. That's the other thing, y'all. We need to beat Denver tonight so that we stay ahead of Boston, because they've on a streak also, and they're right there nipping at our heels. And Boston just showed they could beat Denver. So why can't we show that we can beat Denver? So I really hope, and I'm sure that this is what happened. Nick Nurse and the coaches are watching the tape from the Boston game last night and seeing exactly the different little places where there may be weaknesses, and our defense can mimic maybe some of the things that Boston did last night when they had success against them. Yeah, but I feel real good. This is a test that we need to take, and I hope that the guys are thinking this way. That it's like Boston took care of business against this team last night. We want to be better than Boston. We need to do the same. We need to make sure we beat them also. Because like I said, Boston's right there nipping at our ankles, right behind us in the standings. And we can't let them get any ground gained on us. So, all right, let's see what's going on. G saying, good morning, G. First one in. Without Jokic, the Nuggets have one of the worst offenses in the league. Okay, that's interesting. See, last night, Jokic got a triple-double, but he had 9 turnovers. In some ways, he's like their biggest strength, but also their biggest weakness in some ways. I really want to exploit his slowness in comparison to our quicker power forward defenders. I want to see our double team run at him. I want to see us play really cutthroat and physical. I want us to play dirty. I want us to do all the things that we've been doing recently against Denver and see if we really agitate their offensive schemes and get that ball loose and get running and jam it on them. because that's going to be a key to victory tonight. Is if we can get in the fast break from causing turnovers and get easy points that way, that'll really help. But yeah, I feel really good about this. I mean, just purely from the stance of, all right, first of all, we want to protect our streak. Second of all, we don't want to look worse than Boston. So we need to do something that Boston was able to do last night. Third, Denver's playing for the second time in 2 nights, and we are arrested. We need to come out there and mess them up. Now, one of the things that I will say is Fred is still listed on the injury list, that he's questionable for tonight. But I really feel like he's going to show up and play. At least I hope so, because we aren't as good with Fred out of the lineup. That's for sure. So hopefully Fred shows up and he plays. As far as the injuries for Denver, they got a guy, Monty Morris, is their starting point guard. He's out right now. There's other little things like Michael Porter Jr. Is out. He just got hurt. Handcar, who's not playing also for them right now. So it's really just not very many. The Murray one is huge, obviously. Denver's a completely different team with Jamal Murray playing for them. All right, let's keep going. Kenny, good morning. Always good to see you. Jokic is everything for them. Danger of building a team around a superstar. Yeah, if Jokic isn't effective, if Jokic can be made to be like Derek Favors with the Oklahoma City game, where the pace is just too much, that things are going on too much, and that he's taken away from their ability to try and win because of, there are limitations to him compared to a positionless team. And I really hope we can show them and expose them and execute on them. And I hope that, man, there's going to be a lot of doubling on Jokic. I want to see him get a lot of turnovers again. Like he had 9 turnovers against the Celtics last night. Let's try and mimic that. I really think that the Celtics are a similar team to us on defense in some ways. We have better length, but we can do similar things that they do on defense. A lot of it was Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is crazy stealing the ball in the first quarter of the game. He stole it like 3 times right away in the beginning of the game. So Monty Python, good morning. Reporting live from bed, Monty Python. All right, anyway, I just had to do that a little bit. Yeah, just for you, buddy. That's your theme song. He's in bed and I love that show. That's honestly one of my favorite shows of all time. Monty Python's Flying Circus. I can quote that shit left and right. I like the show better than the movies, y'all. I'm a real one. Michael Palin is a genius. Golly. All right, don't get me started on that. All right, Tom Duke's here. So you know what that means? Oh, yeah. You know what that means. We got this. Joker ain't no joke, but our boys are locked in. Let's go. Yes, Tom. All right. Real mascot matchup of the day for Tom Duke. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. I actually really prepared one today, and y'all are going to love this real mascot matchup. All right, y'all. So all of a sudden, the Raptor, and I'm talking about the Raptor as in the mascot, the guy who's like doing all the stunts at the games, the Raptor mascot, wakes up in a ditch, like on the side of the road, and he's wearing purple shorts that are all ripped. And he's like, what the fuck? Why am I in a ditch? What happened to me? He's getting up off the ground and he's like, where am I? What's going on? And he has no idea what's happened to him. That maybe he has some little popcorn chicken crumbs on his side of his chin, a little bit of a steak tartare blood on the little side of his chin, like stain. He's like, where have I been? And what have I been doing? This is weird. So he starts walking down the street and there's some piano music going, dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. He's like, why is this sad music playing near me? I'm happy. Everything's fine. I just don't know where the fuck I am. So he's walking down the road, and all of a sudden, he's like, there's these 2 guys show up in a car, and they pull up next to him, and they're like, hey, get in. Don't ask any questions. Just get in. And he gets in. And he's in the car and he notices the 2 guys in the car, these big, huge wrestlers. Like they got huge muscles. And this one guy, one guy's driving. He looks like he's from Japan. And then this other guy, he's like this big, huge, like really strong man. He's like, hey, kid, my name's Ken. And that's Sato. And we're going to go get some nuggets. And you're like, what? And the Raptor's sitting in the back seat. And he's like, what the fuck? Where am I now? This is crazy. I got ripped purple jeans on. I don't know how I got these on. I got picked up by these weird wrestler looking guys, and we're heading down the road, and they want to go get nuggets. And they also seemed a little inebriated. That's the other thing I'll say. Yeah, Mr. Sato was driving fine. He was driving fine, but Ken Patera was definitely drunk. Oh, yeah, he was drunk. And they pulled up to the McDonald's, and they got in the drive-thru, and they're like, we want nuggets. Ken Patera's like, we want nuggets. And like the McDonald's is like,
I'm sorry, we're closed. You can't get nuggets right now. We're closed.
And they're like, what? And they start freaking out. Ken Patera and Mr. Sato. And they're like banging. They get out of the car and they're banging on the door to the McDonald's. They're like, we want nuggets. We want nuggets. And they're like banging on the door. And they like, Mr. Sato literally rips the door off the hinges and runs into the McDonald's. And he's like, we want nuggets. And they run into the back behind the counter. And they just start throwing nuggets in the fryer. And they start cooking them. And they're like, we want nuggets. And the police come. Oh my God, the police come because the employees are freaking out because there's this huge drunk wrestlers in the McDonald's trying to make McNuggets right now. And they're like, we're closed, y'all. Get the fuck out. And they're like, no, nuggets. And they're cooking and the cops come. Oh my God. And the Raptors just like, what the fuck am I doing here with these crazy guys wanting nuggets? And then they're cooking and the cops come in. And then all of a sudden they throw down with the cops. Mr. Sato and Ken Patera start beating up the cops in the middle of the McDonald's, yelling nuggets. And the Raptor is starting to get arrested too. And he's like, the police are grabbing his arms and they're like, you want nuggets too, don't you? And they're like trying to arrest him and take him out of there. And you know what? The Raptor starts feeling something. He's like, ooh, he felt a little indigestion inside for a second. And then he was like, what is this feeling coming over him? He said, I feel rage. Dun, 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 dun. And the Raptor, all of a sudden, he started changing. His eyes got real like light colored, like a snake's, like, and he looked up and it was like, ah! And then all of a sudden he started changing. His clothes started ripping. And he turned into an electro raptor. And then he bit the cop's head off. He's like, ah! And then he ran off. Meanwhile, Sato and Ken Patera got arrested and they went to prison for 5 years and it ruined their WWF careers. There's your real Raptor mascot. Matchup of the day. The Nuggets got 8 no matter what. It didn't matter if it was closed. Them Raptors and those wrestlers got in there and they ate them Nuggets no matter what. The cops being closed, nothing could stop them. Yes. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And the Raptor, like later on, an hour later, he wakes up in another ditch and he's like, where the fuck? What happened? And then he just starts walking down this road again, this lonely road with the sad piano music following him. Oh, anyway, all right, let me see what y'all are saying. Oh my gosh, that's so stupid, but I love it. All right, G's saying it's a stat. Without Joker, they are equivalent to Orlando. Wow, this is awesome. Well, they have Aaron Gordon. That would make sense. Yeah, also without Jamal too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys, you're getting a song and a crazy new version of the real mascot matchup. Now they're going to get really weird. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to put pre-thought into these stories. I'll come up with some fantastical shit. If y'all know the real story about Mr. Sato and Ken Patera at the McDonald's, go look it up today. And you'll see that this story was based in reality. Okay. Yes, it's so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh, Monty was jamming to my Monty Python theme song version earlier. That was crazy. Oh, Tom Duke, he loves the mascot matchup. It's incredible. Yeah, Kenny caught it. I was doing Incredible Hulk. I mean, that's the thing. The real Raptor is going to be Bill Bixby, and the Electro Raptor is going to be Lou Ferrigno. So expect the Raptor to Hulk out at different times in his stories from now on. That's going to be the new thing with this story. So look forward to some real mascot matchups. They're just going to be off the chain and wild, just like this last one. Oh my gosh. We want nuggets. Yes. It's so good. I love flop. Why? Thanks for being here. We're always here in the morning, sometime between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern time. Was this a dream you had, Alexi? It kind of was. It's kind of a mismatch of reality, TV show, and then like the Raptors match up against the Nuggets. Like seriously, go and look up Mr. Sato and Ken Patera and the story at McDonald's. And you will find that this story that I just told is based in a real story. Like about half of what I said actually did happen. So I don't know if they were yelling, "We want nuggets," when they were in there, but they were definitely in the McDonald's when it was closed trying to get food when they shouldn't have been. And the police did come there and they did beat up some police and they did go to prison for 5 years because of it. Yeah, that's all real truth stuff. Yeah, Electro Raptor's unstoppable. Those other guys, the wrestlers got arrested and they went to jail and prison. But yeah, you know, other ones are like, yeah. Callie thinks I finally lost it. Yes, but you know, it's so fun. I do that for Tom Duke. And look, I've even got the transformation shirt on today that goes from like the Raptor to the Husky back and forth. Man, I love this shirt. This graphic is so cool. So it's like I gotta wear a transformation shirt because now we've got the Raptor acting like the Incredible Hulk from the 70s TV show, Bill Bixby. Oh yeah, it's a new thing. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. G says, I don't know what's funnier, the story or you laughing at your own story. I love that story, man. Like seriously, y'all, find out about Ken Patera and Mr. Sato at the McDonald's. It's pro wrestling folklore. It is really a real story and it's crazy. Go look it up. It's so funny. All right, let's see. Monty Python saying Bol goes to Orlando. Now Orlando's advertising. Look at all our length and wingspan now. Yeah. Listen. All right, this is actually a real good segue. Masai Ujiri basically had his State of the Union address. I was likening it to like the president coming out and giving you his State of the Union of the nation. Well, Masai came out and did that for the Raptor Nation yesterday. And one of the things he said, and I love that he said this, and he said it with a gleam in his eye and a little wink. He said, this is a copycat league. And people will be copycatting, and you have to stay ahead of the curve. And I was just like, man, this guy's such a genius. Totally recommend watching the press conference with Masai yesterday. He said a lot of really interesting things. A couple of my takeaways personally from it were that he said basically straight up that he talks to the NBA head office about getting the Raptors on national television in the United States more, that he is actively pushing the NBA head office to give us more exposure on the US side of the border, and that there's different regulations and different things that cause this to be difficult. But this is something that he's in the ear of Adam Silver about, and that we need to realize that Masai is not only, he's not a GM anymore, he's a team president. So he's taking care of all of affairs for the whole franchise in any kind of different way that's important, whether he wants to take care of the players he has, he wants to take care of his fans for the team, he wants to take care of his staff, he wants to take care of everybody really well in different ways. And one of the ways he's working for us is to try and get us more exposure on US television. And I applaud him for that. And I'm glad he came out and said that this is something that he discusses with the NBA head office and pushes for. The other arena that he is talking and fighting for us in is with the Canadian government about opening the arena back up. That this has bugged the hell out of him. Sure, he loves sitting over there by himself, having the best seat in the house, but he has really been in talks with Doug Ford, Justin Trudeau, all the health experts, all the scientists, and he is really pushing and working for them opening up Scotiabank Arena as soon as possible. That he is the man who is pushing the pressure on them to allow us to come back to the games. So we need to think about Masai in that way also and thank him for that. There was a lot of interesting things he said. I mean, he was on for 45 minutes yesterday. Very interesting. It's tough to watch the press conference, though, because you can't hear the questions. So you kind of have to guess what he's talking about or who he's talking about at different times because you don't know what the question was. But there was one question early on in the press conference where Masai actually said we had the opportunity to tank. And when he said that, I was like, what? He just admitted that he wanted to tank last year. And I'm like, no, don't do that. He fucked up. He really fucked up because he gave the press a quote. And you're probably seeing this quote in different places today on media. That Masai Ujiri basically said we took the opportunity to tank last year. But you got to understand what he meant. He did not mean that they purposely tanked on purpose to try and get Scotty Barnes. He means that we tried to win earnestly the whole season, but when we got to a certain point, because of COVID hitting us at that point, when we were finally all back together and we were doing well, COVID hit us and it fucked us all up, coaching staff and players. And then it was like assessing where we were in the standings with what we could do by the end of the year. They kind of went on cruise control. I mean, that makes sense. You know, why would you go all out? That was why we wouldn't see Kyle in a lot of the games at the end of last year. Or, you know, we sat Fred. We were sitting guys. We were doing load management at the end of the year last year. So it wasn't purposefully to lose. But when you hold guys out of the game like that, it does change your ability to win, obviously. So I hated that he said that, because I knew as soon as he said it, he stepped in it, because they're going to jump all over that T word with him. And they're going to put it all over the media that he basically admitted that we tried to tank last year. But I don't believe him. And he said it. He reiterated after they asked him about, would you just say you tried to tank last year? He said, no. We were trying to win. We were trying to win. It's just that the way that it went, the opportunity came up and this happened. And we weren't trying to tank. They were trying to win. But it was kind of like, do you want to be that middling, like in between? Or do you want to try and, it's tough. It's a tough position to be in. And then later in the press conference, when it came around to that subject again, he caught himself before he used that T word. And I think he's going to not use that word ever again. He probably shouldn't. As the president of the Toronto Raptors, that word should not be in your vocabulary, Masai Ujiri, because it's not going to do you any service, and it won't do our team any service if you say that word out of your mouth. So just don't say it ever again. And he caught himself later in the press conference. He said, I was going to say that word again. But he was like, no, I'm not saying that word again, because he learned his lesson right from the start when he said it at the beginning, because it was not good to say. I was like, when he said it, my jaw dropped. I was like, why did you say that? Don't say that, even if it's true. Oh, my gosh, so crazy. All right, let me keep reading, guys. All right, you guys went off just now. I'm going to see what you guys are saying. Okay. Monty Python said these other teams have no shame, openly cheating off our high school exam. Well, this is the thing. There's nothing like that. It's not cheating. It's just that, you see success on another team. You be smart to try and replicate it if you can. But, that's the thing. Sometimes these scenarios and cases are very special. And you can't replicate a very unique situation like the one we have right now. I don't know if you can get the right collection of 6'9" guys with 7-foot wingspans right now in the league to do exactly what we're doing overall. Like, it's like what Masai said yesterday. It's like we would be Golden State if we could have the players that Golden State has, but they're just not out there. So we have to find our own way. We make our own team and our own plan. And I love that he said, this is another thing he said yesterday. If you really count it, you listen to him. He said, I want to tell y'all that the championship happens when players mature and they get to 27. And then that's right around when they win, when a core is together for a while. I want to tell y'all that that's how it is. But there's no guarantees. And he said it with a little grin and a little glint in his eye that, you know what he's saying? He's not saying that he thinks that it'll happen at 27 when all of our young guys are around 27, like where Fred and Pascal are. He's saying that it could happen sooner. That is what he was inferring, that it doesn't have to happen where everybody has to be a certain age to be able to win a championship. That's just bullshit. That's just some made up, fucked up rules. If you have the right talent and the right synergy and the right team, you can win a championship at any point. Like, I want to talk about really quick the early 80s right now and two rookies who came into the league at that point. They were Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. These guys came into good teams, sure. They came into teams that were already kind of playoff teams that had good players around them that they could learn from. But both of these players, Magic and Larry, both won championships within their first 3 years in the NBA. And part of that was having vets around them, having guys that, listen, the one that Larry got was different than because they won a championship in the 70s with Dave Cowens, and that was their last championship. And then when Larry got his first one, he was like in his first or second year. And a lot of the guys that were on the team with him had not won championships with the Celtics yet. So what I'm saying is that even though Scotty's a rookie, you could see him winning a championship in his first 3 years in the NBA because he wants to be in that same breath. with Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, and that they were able to do it when they were very young in their careers. Why the fuck can't a player like Scotty Barnes, who's showing the same kind of aptitude, the same kind of level of superstardom as those guys? People may be like, what? You think he's as good as they were? Well, yeah, in some ways his stats are comparable to Magic Johnson's stats when he was younger and he's first starting in the league. Sure, Magic may have scored a little bit more, but they're very similar kind of stats that he's doing that Magic did. So that's what I'm saying. Masai was saying, yeah, I wish I could tell you that a championship happens when everybody's in their prime around 27, but that's not always the case, is basically what he was saying. And he wasn't saying that it doesn't mean it'll never happen. He's saying that it could happen sooner, is what he was inferring. That's what I got from it. Very interesting stuff. Yeah, gee, I guess I've answered your question. Yeah, I watched it. It was amazing. I hope everybody else goes and watches it, because honestly, when the man speaks, it's really good for us to hear what he's saying. And he's basically echoing a lot of what Bobby Webster has said in the 2 press conferences he's had this week. And he's just saying a lot of the same stuff, that he's very pleased with this team. He's very pleased with the individual development by each player, and that all of it accumulates into one big, great sum of really doing really well. That each player is developing, whether it's as leaders and better players as Pascal and Fred, or just like becoming a new NBA player and learning the game like Scotty. So it's amazing. It's amazing. Yes. Monty Python saying these teams are watching us, y'all. They're watching our media. You know what? There was at one point where Masai said in his press conference yesterday, we are listening to the fans also. So I don't know, guys, if they're going around watching all the content, stuff like that, maybe they do get a little tips and little observations from people like me and other people that are putting content out and stuff like that. Maybe they hear some of the stuff in the inside I'm saying here, and they're like, wow, he just pointed out something we didn't even think about. That'd be cool. Hey, if I'm indirectly helping their brain trust and helping whatever they're thinking about with their team and what they might want to do, I'm all for it, because my single directive is to help the Raptors win another Larry O'Brien trophy as soon as possible. And I will, yeah, I'm all for it. But I love that Masai said that it isn't just his stamp of approval on everything, that he doesn't have, he's not the end all say all of the Raptors. He's listening to the staff. He's listening to the players. He's listening to the fans. He's listening to us. And he's hearing what our wants and needs are as a community. And he's helping the team, leading the team in a way that keeps that in mind also. So I love it. I love it. That press conference, once again, go watch it. Amazing stuff. I love that he fucked up and he said tank, and then he fixed himself later. And then all the stuff about, like, it was really eye-opening to hear him talk about him talking to the NBA head office about us, and also about talking to the Canadian government and the scientists about the pandemic and getting our building open. Very interesting. Let's see. G saying they're doing their own style because it's a copycat league and they're all in on going for it. Yeah. Well, I mean, they can't have the same players unless you got a Morris twin. We got one Morris twin. You got a Morris twin. We get all teams with twins. Then you can copycat us completely. We'll get all twins on our team, and you can get the other twins on your team, Orlando. And we can see, yeah, copycat. Yeah. No, I love that this league is a copycat league. And I just love that this is the thing I love about it is if it's a copycat league, that means people are going to be behind the leader. And the leader is us. The innovator is us, because we have the GM, the president, and the coach that are all working together as a team in syncopation with one united goal. And with that kind of united goal and that kind of not bumping up against each other conflict, because there's a lot of conflict on other teams between GMs, owners, presidents, coaches, stuff like that with what they want to do. But we have a clear vision and a clear direction. And honestly, this is a brilliant strategy. Like, it just makes sense on paper and in theory. And the more and more it's being played on the court, the more we're realizing how dominant it is and how it's going to be shaping the future of the NBA. What the Toronto Raptors are doing this season. It's going to shake the league to its core, and it's going to change the league forever. Because this is the thing, we fuck around and we get the championship this year. Everybody's going to be like, we need to do exactly what they're doing even more, because they're going to see how much success we got from it. And I believe more today than I did a month ago that we can win the championship this year. Oh yeah, because there's no reason why we can't. We got these clutch. They're showing clutch now. This is the thing. Our guys weren't showing clutch at the beginning of the year, but they're showing clutch now. When the game is close and at the end of the game, they know the way to win. They know how to control the game, and they know exactly how much to do. And they have the weapons, and they have the defensive ability to control the game at the end of the games. And that's not going to go away. They can do this on a night in, night out. I see it. I see it. That's why I feel like 9 tonight is going to be something that's going to happen. We're going to get 9 wins in a row against Denver tonight. And we're going to keep rolling. It's just we got to keep taking each game by game and not get ahead of ourselves. So stick to the plan tonight and go do it. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. I did, G. Let's see. It was great, wasn't it? Yeah, you guys are talking about the press conference. Monty Python, it totally was the guys, and it is a mastermind. Yeah, he totally is a mastermind. Masai Ujiri, he's really weird gangster. He's the gangster in a way. Like he's a gangster in the NBA. He's a badass. He's like a mafioso. He's like so many different things about him. There's just like, he's a humanitarian. He's just like a dad. He's just the best. And I'm so glad that he is the guy in charge. He is the main cook in the kitchen, the guy who's kind of giving direction, but he's smart enough to allow somebody like Nick Nurse, who's completely crazy. He called him a mad scientist yesterday. He says he lives and breathes basketball, the leash to make ideas happen. And, because he's not telling Nick exactly how to coach this team. He's not telling him what plays and like this and this. He's really pleased with what Nick Nurse is doing with the concept and the theory that we have about what we're doing with our basketball team, that he is executing at the coach level, the vision that they had together at the front office. And that's huge. That is huge. Monty's saying, I was so glad he even gave Adam Silver a pat on the back. Might buy us goodwill from the league. Listen, we have a good relationship with Adam Silver for the most part. I've thought at times that he was against the Raptors. He didn't like the team as much as David Stern used to, because David Stern really wanted this league to be more international, have more countries involved in the NBA. And there's a lot of purists in the NBA that don't want a Canadian team. They don't want an expansion to Mexico. They don't want teams possibly in Europe, because that's what David Stern wanted. He wanted to have an NBA Europe that interconnected with the NBA in North America, and that their champion would play our champion and make it even more a world champion kind of feel to it. But that never took off, NBA Canada. So it's a global vision that David Stern had, but not necessarily Adam Silver in some ways. So, and I also love, getting back to the Masai presser, he said that if there are any kind of weird restrictions going further or any kind of thing, he said they're not going to go anywhere else. We're going to play in Toronto no matter what. He's putting his foot down, and that this team will not relocate and go anywhere. He's like, yeah, Tampa was Tampa, but we don't want to go back there. And he's going to do everything in his power to make sure that the Raptors do not have to play anywhere else but Toronto for their home games. So I love that reassurance also. But yeah, Adam Silver comes up for the Mandela Day stuff, the Giants of Africa, all the different kind of things here. And, I think that in a way, Adam Silver does have a soft spot for the Raptors in some ways. So because he sees that we are probably on the forefront of not only the basketball theory stuff, but also on like the political and social work kind of humanitarian kind of stuff. Like out of all the teams in the league, we're first and foremost out on that tip too. So, all right, let's keep going. Tom Duke saying Ujiri echoed a lot of what Alexius told us. Raptor Freak is true. Oh, come on, man. Seriously, he said stuff that made me feel good as a fan, but also as a human. Yeah, Masai he's a little arrogant, and that bugs me a little bit, but he's earned it. Listen, the man can walk with a little bit of swagger and a little bit of arrogance because he's earned it. He's a badass. And listen, everything he says, I hear he's like E.F. Hutton. If he's speaking, you listen because he has something to say. And I love that he came out and did this press conference yesterday, because it really was like a State of the Raptors address. And, it really reinforces what we're trying to do. And maybe it quiets some of the noise among the fans and the media about the Raptors and the direction we're going, because he's explaining it to them. And then there's not any of these dumb questions in the pressers. We're like, well, why are you doing this? Well, we're going for it, motherfucker. Like, we feel good about our core, and we're doing this and we're doing that. We're not in a rebuild. I don't understand why we have to keep spelling different things out to different people that are supposedly covering the Raptors. Can you understand what's happening with the team right now? We are a playoff team, and we're contending. We're not even just a playoff team. We're going to be contending for a championship because we play a playoff style. And when it gets shown in the playoffs, we've already been playing this way. It's like a callus you build on your hand. We're building that callus during the season. When you play guitar, you get calluses on your fingers and stuff. And then you can feel better when you play as you go later. But it feels raw early. So we get that rawness out during the middle of the season when we play playoff intensity, playoff minutes, stuff like that. By the time we get to the playoffs, we're calloused to it. Meanwhile, other teams are raw to it, and they're getting ripped up at the beginning of the playoffs because they hadn't been playing at that level already. And that's going to be a big factor for us is we play with playoff intensity already midway through the season. So, oh, man, I love it. I love the future that's coming for us. Monty Python saying we are so fortunate this guy is leading the ship that it's so clear. It really is. Like the part of the biggest problem with most of these franchises in the NBA is, like I said, too many cooks in the kitchen, too many different people that have different power places in the team. They're fighting against each other. They don't have a shared vision. They have maybe different ideas. Maybe they don't like each other and they're just doing things to make each other have problems just to spite them. It's kind of like Democrats and Republicans in the government in the US. It's the same kind of thing. Like we're going to stop you any way you try and do it. There's that kind of logjam in some franchises because of people that don't get along and don't share the same vision for their team. And like James Dolan is a great example. James Dolan with his GMs over the years. That's exactly what I'm talking about right there. So, that's a really big important thing that you have a figurehead leader that's in charge and that, they share a vision, but also he's such an open leader that he allows all the different levels of his staff to have ingenuity and innovation from their standpoint and their knowledge that he doesn't have to be involved in. So it's really good. Let's keep going. He even spoke highly of Goran. Class act. Yeah, he really danced around that Goran thing. He said he left because of a personal reason, which I will not divulge. He said he was a professional, but I don't agree with you, Masai. I still don't feel like what Goran did this season was very professional, just considering that he was so publicly around the Miami Heat team in the recent months. That's not professional to me. So I won't. You're a bigger man for saying it. And you know what? You're doing the right thing because you want to give proper PR both ways. And I'm sure Goran's saying the same thing from his end about the Raptors organization and his time with them, that they treated me correctly. And I appreciate them giving me the opportunity to leave the team to take care of what I needed to take care of. But yes, that was all diplomacy. I don't know how much you can read between the lines there. It doesn't seem like there was any animosity. It was kind of like how I felt. It's just like, okay, go walk, whatever. We don't care. And now it's like, yeah, tonight we get to see Thaddeus Young suit up for the Raptors. He's here in town. He's cleared his physical. He will be in the lineup for tonight and available to play. So, I'm just glad Goran's gone. Like, it's so nice not having him linked to our team at this point. He can go fuck around and do whatever he's going to do. He's going to get bought out or whatever he's going to do. I don't give a fuck. It's like he's not our problem at this point. So it's great. Let's see. Monty Python saying, Cleveland fans saying, we should go get Bol. Really? Didn't they have Bol? They traded for Bol and then they rescinded it or something. Or was that Detroit? Somebody got Bol, but then he came and he did the physical and he didn't work out. So they sent him back. I don't know. If Orlando's trying to be us, whatever. It's cool. Monty Python saying we're single-handedly changing the dynamic of this league. Not only this league, Monty Python, in a way, we're changing the whole entire sport. Like this could go all around the globe to all kinds of different basketball or whatever and stuff like that. We're just we're the evolution of basketball. Like this is the next logical step with the athletes that play in this league. That what we're doing is going to happen. It's like a Monstars from Space Jam. Yeah, for sure. But it is like the next logical step in the evolution of the game is that the athleticism of the players is matching the heights more and more. And now you can do things like what the Raptors are doing. And we really are on the cutting edge of the sport of basketball, not just the NBA, the cutting edge of basketball all around. Let's see. Tom Duke, Tampa tank. Hey, it was perfect. Yeah, it was hilarious that he said that. And it's nothing wrong. Like, honestly, even if he admitted that we did try and tank and lose some of those games to get a guy like Scotty, is it really a big deal? It's all after the matter. That season's over and stuff like that. It's just, I don't like the idea of our team trying to lose at any point, even if we're having a bad season like last year. I wanted us to try all out no matter what. But if you hold a couple of your best players out each game, it's going to be hard to win some of those games at the end of the season. Sure. Monty Python saying, all of a sudden the league's highest priority is length and height. Wonder where that came from. Yeah, the other thing that they talked about a lot this week is because of the play-in games and because of those extra spots to possibly get into the playoffs, there's less sellers at the trade deadline because there's so many different teams that feel like they have a chance to do something, where in the past years, there'd be more teams willing to unload guys to teams that are trying to win it all. But this year, there's more teams that think they have a chance. So there were way more buyers than sellers on the trade deadline market. And that really affected things from what I'm hearing. That's what Bobby said, and that's what Masai said too. So let's see. Even if they got in the playoffs, they had zero home court advantage. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Oh, Tampa. Yeah, when we were in Tampa last year. Yeah, listen. I was crying out at the end of last year. If you watch, I had a juice show last year. If you watch some of my late episodes last season, I was like, let's just finish the fucking season and go home. I don't want us to get in the play-in. Like I kept saying that. I was like, yeah, we could flirt and try and get in the play-in, but I don't think that would serve us at this point. I think we need to just close up shop and get the fuck out of Florida, is what I was saying at that point last season. Because, yeah, you're right. It wouldn't have been no home court advantage. It would have just been a waste of time. It would just – and honestly, the other thing we were saying at that point is the way that Tampa supported us, and it's just the way they support sports teams in general around there. There's so much to do in Tampa. They have some of the most beautiful beaches. Busch Gardens is there, Ybor City. People don't want to go to games necessarily, especially a team that's from Canada that's not actually their team. So these fans in Tampa didn't really deserve any kind of playoff games in Amalie Arena. Also, so I was like, yeah, why would you give them a playoff game for them to watch, even if it's just one play-in game or something like that? So, Callie, good morning. Good to see you. One thing that concerned me was that he did not seem to include Gary in the core of all our team. I noticed that too, Callie. And what I'm going to tell you right now is this is a very simple GM team president kind of trick. Is that one of the people that's he's going to have to pay some more money to soon is Gary Trent Jr. So one of the things he can do is like, all right, all the guys on his team that he feels really comfortable and secure with, like the contracts, like he said, he has a friendship with Fred and Pascal that he's had for years now and stuff like that. Well, Gary is going to have his option, like on his contract, exercised by his management, Clutch Sports. And him not mentioning him on there may have been purposeful just because he doesn't want to give leverage in kind of weird ways or something like that. Or maybe he's just omitting him by not remembering. But to me, it struck me as that we know that Clutch Sports is going to come to Masai and Bobby and want to get more money for Gary because of his option contract. Like he's going to exercise his option. So maybe that was part of it. That's where I was reading in between the lines with, is that he didn't want to put him in there. And it's not that he's not a part of our plan. It's just this may be pre-strategy negotiation with when Clutch comes and when they're going to talk about it. That they didn't mention him as being important to the core because they may come with a ridiculous number. Who knows? And he may want to be like, yeah, I can't do this because it's going to really make it hard for us to do everybody all together if we do this with Gary. So it may be a little bit of pre-negotiation tactic before when he exercises his option. So that's what I read into it with. But I wouldn't worry about this too much. I think him not mentioning Gary was probably that, or maybe just forgetting to mention him, which is crazy because he's actually like doing such huge things for us right now. It seems like he should have. Tom Duke, new open gym video always gets me even more hyped up. Oh, gee, oh my. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Tom. That was the third thing I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to do the preview for the Denver game. I wanted to talk about the Masai press conference. And then I wanted to talk about another great open gym episode that dropped last night around 8 o'clock. And this one is all about that winning week, the back-to-backs at home where we won 4 in a row that week, leading into the Atlanta Hawks game when we beat them twice. the second time on Friday. And it's so fun to watch those huge games get the open gym treatment, because you really feel like that kind of excitement, and like the cinematography and production value of the open gym show is so fun. It, once again, to me, it really makes me think of the NFL film stuff that was done with the Sables, that the way that they made that production value and that excitement with those shows with the NFL is the same kind of thing with open gym for us. And that show was really interesting, the open gym episode last night, because they interviewed a bunch of the players about what their pregame rituals were. And I'll tell you, some of it was very mind-opening. Apparently, Chris Boucher is drinking 5-hour energy before the game. And I wondered about this about NBA players. Are they doing stuff like that? I remember back in the day, Orlando had a player named Daryl Armstrong, who's actually an assistant coach for the Mavs right now, I think. Daryl Armstrong. And he used to eat like 5 chocolate bars at halftime. He would get caffeinated. He'd drink a bunch of coffee and eat a bunch of chocolate bars at halftime just to get his energy and his craziness on the court. And he was all over the place, like energy kind of guy as a little guard. Daryl Armstrong. But yeah, this made me think of this, because even Pascal said that he drinks a Red Bull before the game. But that partly is because he's sponsored by Red Bull. He has a partnership with Red Bull. So he's going to say Red Bull wherever you can say it, because he is actually paid by them as a spokesperson for Red Bull. So that was interesting that him and Chris are taking energy drinks before the game. And I just hope and I wish that this stuff doesn't wear off by the end of the game. And that may be part of why they look so tired, is because, if you drink those drinks, you get that high, but you can have a real crash. And I don't want these guys crashing during the game. I mean, I'd much rather them do something like what Chris is doing with a 5-hour energy than like just drink a Red Bull, because a Red Bull can make you crash quicker. So hopefully Pascal's drinking a Red Bull at halftime also, because like you got to go through all of it. You can't just like crash in the middle of the game, Pascal. But yeah, really interesting, different things that they do when they come, like getting massages, shoot arounds, like dumb little rituals. Some people have rituals, some people don't. Fred eats the same thing every morning, stuff like that. OG says he just shows up and the game starts. Oh my gosh, I love OG so much. You just watch it just to get to the end and just hear OG do his part about what he preps for the game. It's so short. And so he's like, yeah, I come to the arena and the game starts. That's what he said. Like, what's your prep for the game? I come to the arena and the game starts. I was like, what the fuck, man? This guy is like, oh my gosh. It's like, well, how do you feel about Texas? I go to Texas and the game starts. That's how I feel about Texas. I love OG so much. Oh, gee, I noticed that too, but think they talked about him at another point. I couldn't really hear the question, but I think it was about Gary. They were talking about Scotty, actually. They didn't really talk about Gary at all yesterday, guys. I'm not going to lie. He was not involved in a lot of the discussion yesterday. Yeah. And the fact that all three of us noticed this during it, is telling. And I really do think it has to do with what I just said, that his contract has an option on it. And we know that Clutch Sports is going to try and get more money for him because of how much he's upgraded his game since just last summer when he got this new contract with us. That he's criminally underpaid at this point for what he's doing for us. And that in some ways, Masai is a really savvy, smart GM/president mind, that he's thinking ahead with this negotiation that he's going to have to do for this. And then he's saying right out, it's like he doesn't necessarily have to be a part of this core. And I know you guys don't like hearing that, but it's also strategic for negotiations. I think deep down low, everybody wants Gary to be here. It's just that he has to do this because this is how business is done, for to keep your advantages. Keep your advantages. And Masai's advantage in this is maybe not tipping his hat that Gary is so important to our future plans, absolutely essential to our future plans. In some ways, he isn't. Like, if we really get down to it, in some ways, Gary is not exactly essential to us and what we're doing. There's other guys on the team that are more essential. And I hate to say that, but it's just the truth. There's other guys that we could get, not necessarily exactly like Gary, but can do something similar to what Gary does also. So, yeah. Yeah, G saying open gym video. They asked the players about their pregame routine. Yeah, everybody had a list. Everybody except for OG. OG didn't have a list. Monty's saying, I love the fact that he said we will win again. I believe him. Yeah, we're going to do it sooner than later. Honestly, I really do believe that when Scotty says, I want to have the rookie of the year as my legacy, there's other things that are on the down low he's thinking about that he wants as his legacy. And if he can get a championship in his first couple years in the league, that's going to be part of his legacy that he wants. And we're not saying it because they won't talk about it. Like the team's not going to talk about it. The management's not going to talk about it. But me as a fan who has an optimistic view and is seeing the vision of what's possible in the future is, yeah, this is the kind of thing that he would want to do. And think about it. If we make a good playoff run and we win the championship this year, Scotty doesn't win the rookie of the year, that's going to look really fucked up. It's going to look really fucked up. So he wants to make us get in a good position to win the championship because that would be part of the legacy he's talking about. That like there's an individual legacy, win the rookie of the year for him, playing the Rising Stars Challenge, all that stuff. And then there's a team legacy with him involved. And it may be that he wants to get it. Like Nick Nurse won a championship his rookie year as a coach. Why can't Scotty Barnes win a championship in his rookie year as a player? That's what I'm saying, y'all. These are special, top-notch people in their fields. And just because they're young and they're rookies doesn't mean they can't go out there and do something badass, even in their first year in the league. That's what I'm saying. Let's keep going. OG, yeah, I just come on the court and the game starts. I love that. I love that. He has so many good quotables as the years go by. Yeah, I show up. The game starts. So good. It's so good. So good. Yeah, Callie loves OG. We all love OG. OG's amazing. Hey, Monique, good morning. Raptor Super Freak Monique. Go Raptors. We got this. Yeah, I believe too. 9 is fine. Let's get 9. Let's really protect our streak. Mimic some of the things. Copycat Boston from what they did last night against the Nuggets. They had good success last night. It was down to the wire. Like the game was close up until 2 minutes in the game. And then like they were missing threes to try and win the Nuggets. And Boston executed. They were hitting free throws at the end, and they pulled away, and they won it right at the end. So if we can duplicate something like that tonight, get lots of turnovers on Denver. That's what we really need to do. Continue to be dirty and grabby and snatchy and just getting it all in there and just messing up their offensive flow in all kinds of different ways, just being as disruptive as possible. We will have success tonight, I believe. All right, let's keep going. My Python saying, exactly. If this is a copycat league, they're chasing us. That's right. We're the cat that they're copying. That's the thing. We're the cat that everybody else is copying. They can never be the innovators by default. Well, sometimes it's just not the settings are right. Like it may be that people's hands are tied because of their situation in the organization. And maybe the coach has ideas about what they want to do, but the GM's not working with them to get them the players that they need to do what they want to do. That's the thing. When you have a finely oiled machine that's working really well together, synchronized, like the Raptors, with management, coaching, players, development, medical staff, all working in cohesion together, you get more done. And sometimes, coach may be telling GM, I need you to get me this kind of player. Go get me this player. And they're inept. They don't know what they're doing. They're shitty as a GM. They can't, it's stuff like that. Or maybe the owner's like, hear what you guys are saying and what you want to do, but I think you're crazy. There's no way I'll put money down on you doing this plan for our team because it's too risky. You can't do this. We need a center. What the hell? You just want to get a bunch of wings? No, I won't let you do that. You need point guards and centers. This is the way it's played. It's that kind of shit. It's just that we have enough people with balls at each position to allow for it to happen here. And that's the difference. That is a big difference there. Let's see. Mike Python saying, you ever compare Fruit Loops to the PC beans? He's talking about like the generic President's Choice cereals that are the same as Fruit Loops. You want Fruit Loops? Go get Toucan Sam. Don't get that generic President's Choice stuff. It's not the same. It is not the same ingredients. It doesn't taste the same. Has a weird consistency. That's what he's saying exactly right. That's a good analogy to that. What you are saying. All right, let's see. Monique's saying, make the 6 turn into a 9. I'm pumped. Yeah, Monique is so focused today just on the game. Denver tonight. I really, really like our chances. I didn't like our chances as much 2 or 3 days ago, but when I actually went and investigated Denver last night and saw what a lot of y'all are saying, that without Jokic, they're Orlando, that they're very turnover prone, that Jokic can be coughed up. Like, he's so great. He got a triple-double last night, but 9 turnovers singularly from him, 21 turnovers overall for the Nuggets. Just imagine how many turnovers we can get off of them tonight if we have a similar defensive pressure that Boston put on the Nuggets last night. And once again, they're going to be more tired because they're on the second night of a back-to-back and our guys are rested. And hopefully Fred comes back and plays tonight. I really want to see Fred out on the court tonight. I don't want to see him miss another game because of his sore groin. That would suck because we do want Fred out there. We need him. He helps us to win so much more when he's on the court. So let's keep going. Darren's saying, what's with the Celtics? Holy crap, they were trash. Now they play hard D. It's interesting. Yeah, they're on and off. It's really when they feel like good about themselves. And listen, they're riding a high like we are right now. They're on a win streak too. They've won 7 in a row, so they're feeling pretty good. I'm sure the energy that they're putting out is pretty good. And Derek White showed up and played his first game as a Celtic last night, and he did quite well for them. He played in clutch minutes at the end, and he got 15 points for them off the bench, and he hit some big threes to help them. So, that's new blood coming in there too. So they've got a couple of things to be enthusiastic about right now in Boston, whether it's the win streak and some new players coming in. But once again, I'm looking at who came and who left, and I'm like still kind of mystified. White is an upgrade, sure. But the other stuff, I don't think it was an upgrade because you just weakened your bench more. And even last night, the Celtics only played like 8 players last night. They played a very shortened rotation than what they usually do. And because guys like Langford is gone. They're gone. Richardson, gone all of a sudden. So it's an interesting thing. We don't see Boston anytime real soon, but we'll see where they're at when we get to them for I think one of the last times we play them. We only played them one more time this season, I think. But yeah, they're trying real hard, and they're on a high. They're on a win streak, just like we are. So Monique saying best interview yesterday. Yes, it's always nice to see Masai. That's why I was so happy yesterday when I was on the live stream and somebody commented, Masai's got a press conference at 2:00 today. I was like, this is going to be good. And I was like, I thought he was going to introduce Thad Young. It was part of the press conference because sometimes that's what happens when we get a new player. Masai will come out and he'll do like a state of the Raptors address with also bringing in the new player and introducing them to us. But I guess he wasn't there or available at that moment during the press conference. But yeah, let's see. Denver will fall. We will win. Let's go, Rap Nation. Yes, Darren, I'm so glad you're still up with us. 10:37 over there in Jakarta. Yes, I really believe this true. I think we got a good chance tonight. These guys are professionals. They understand the task that's ahead of them. They can't take this team lightly. They really need to, hopefully they watched a lot of tape of how they dealt with Jokic and the Nuggets last night in Boston. I'm sure Nick Nurse has watched a lot of what they did last night. He's going to see how much he can apply with our team. This is when we copycat. We can copycat too, but it's going to be different because we'll do it. We'll double it up from what the Celtics did. Like if they hated playing against the Celtics last night and their defensive energy last night, just wait till they see our defensive energy tonight. Oh yeah, you're going to get a little bit like ×2 on that. Oh yeah, hope. I don't want them to be flat, but I'm pretty sure they'll be all right. Monty's with Darren on this. Yeah, I am too. Gee, can't get to the top without some arrogance. Lots of people probably tried to bring him down, and he has to be his biggest cheerleader. It goes for anyone. This is true. Same thing with Fred in his press conference recently. He said, it's like, how I feel about myself. And you have to in some ways. You have to have an oversized, it's not even really an ego. It's a belief in yourself. Because there's so many other people out there who will tell you what you can't do, tell you what you should be doing because of their perception of who they think you are, and that in yourself, you have to keep your own personal truth true, and that you have to weather those kind of storms. And I can only imagine all the different levels that Masai Ujiri has been at different times, the different things. And, we see publicly when they won the championship, the kind of bullshit he had to deal with right after when we won the championship. And different things like that. And the fact that he is one of the only African-American GMs or front office people in the NBA overall, like with that kind of power, that brings a lot of animosity too. We saw what Ted Rogers III was calling him and telling him bullshit over the phone that he wasn't worth his contract and just being an asshole to him. Those kind of things don't happen to certain other people just because of certain things. And you know what I'm talking about. So I can't, he has swagger that he's earned. So you can't be dissing the guy for being arrogant in a little bit of a way because he's proven the track record. It's like Michael Jordan kind of arrogance, Masai Ujiri kind of arrogance. It's the same kind of thing. And to me, it's not even really arrogance. It's earned bravado. Earned bravado. That's what I call it. Earned bravado. So, all right, let's keep going. Monique said, oh, wow, I got to catch up as usual. You guys always, I love how much you guys say stuff on here and give me so much to talk about. It's really good. Oh, there's a good question. I see your question, Isla Flop. I'm going to definitely answer that. Yeah, I do. Okay. Monique says, preach. She's telling me to preach. You guys preach too. I mean, listen, I'm here like what Darren just said. I'm listening to the choir here too. All right. I'm going to say Laya Flop. Why? Is asking me, do you have an opinion on past Raptors GMs? Yes, I do. I met Glenn Grunwald when I worked at the Raptors when I was making subs. He came by my stand one day when Stevie Roots and I were making subs, and he was so nice. He was a very nice man, really good dude. He was Isaiah's guy because of their connection at Indiana University. Just a really nice man. I thought he was a good GM. But the problems with Glenn Grunwald at that time were the MLSE problems with Richard Petty and the way that they were running the whole company altogether. That in a lot of ways, the GMs before Masai were hamstrung because Tim Lewicki had not separated the Raptors from the Leafs yet. That there's so much dysfunction in the Leafs management that it was carrying over into the Raptors management because they were so connected at the time when I worked there. Like they were sharing everything. They had the same kind of like designs for all their shirts. Like they just do a purple one instead for the Raptors. They do a blue one that was nice and made sense with the Leafs, but then they make a purple one and they make the equivalent for the Raptors. It was ugly and it didn't fit. And sometimes it was like, didn't make sense for basketball. It was more like a hockey thing. There was all kinds of bullshit like that happening internally. But that really wasn't Glenn Grunwald's fault, because the team was just mismanaged from the ownership and the leader group above that was in Maple Leaf Entertainment and Sports at that time. It was really Tim Lewicki came in and separated the teams, and that's when we started to get good success because we weren't mired by the Maple Leafs bullshit. So first of all, I'll say that Rob Babcock was absolute garbage. He was one of the worst GMs ever in the history of the league. I wouldn't even say he's the worst GM for Raptors for sure, but he was definitely maybe one of the worst GMs in the league history. The Carter trade by itself is egregiously fucked up and all kinds of different things like that. And just, he was horrible. He was inept, and I hated him. Brian Colangelo wasn't a bad GM for the most part. He was doing interesting things at that time. But once again, the team was still kind of screwed up by its linkage to the Maple Leafs and a little bit like hamstrung and not able to do everything it wanted to do. Because in some ways, the coin purse wasn't open up. The priorities wasn't there. There wasn't any kind of like emphasis on the Raptors. The Raptors were just kind of running on autopilot. Yeah, we pick draft picks, Chris Bosh. We have different free agents, but honestly, all kinds of garbage free agents. So I don't think Colangelo's that bad, but Babcock really bad. Grunwald and Colangelo kind of And then in the very beginning, the stuff that Isaiah was doing and stuff like that was just perfunctory, normal GM kind of things. And like he made really good draft picks early on, Isaiah. Like he was doing a really good job early on. Obviously it's an expansion team. They're going to lose, but Damon Stoudemire, Marcus Camby, Tracy McGrady, 3 draft years in a row. That's fantastic work. So I can't diss him too much either, because at that point in time, we're going to lose anyway. So yeah, that's where it is. If I had to rank them, obviously I put Masai number 1, Bobby number 2, maybe Colangelo number 3, Grunwald 4, Isaiah 5, and then Babcock's at the bottom of the list. I don't know if I'm missing any GMs that we've had in our history, but there it is in a nutshell. That's my rundown of how I feel about the different GMs. Monty Python, people, this team is going to be feeding Thad all night. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he's going to be one of these guys that can just manufacture points on his own, garbage points off the basket, like offensive rebounds, stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see. It would be interesting to see if he gets any plays called for him, but I don't think so. I think he's going to end up being another guy just like Boucher and Precious off the bench that is really just in there to be physical and rebound and just play our positionless defensive schemes and stuff like that. So that's what we do. We are a great group of players. I say Thad finishes with 13 points tonight. Okay, he says that he thinks that we're going to get Thad Young 10 to 13 points tonight that will get him in double digits in his Raptor debut. Well, we'll see. Let's see what happens. I don't think they're specifically going to be trying to set him up. It's the kind of thing where he's going to get that if it's in the flow of the game. Like if he gets open and he hits open shots, or he gets putbacks or things like that. That's where I see that possibly happening. G says, I think 8 until he gets acclimated, but would be thrilled with 10 to 13. You guys are speculating on how much this man's going to make tonight. What if he doesn't score any points, but he gets like 10 rebounds tonight? I'd be very happy with that. It doesn't matter how much he scores in a way because we know who's going to be our scorers for sure tonight. Let's see. Monique's saying one step closer to being back in Scotiabank Arena. Yes. I think maybe this might be the last game where we have just 500 people capacity. I may be wrong and incorrect with the dates, but it seems like since we're on the road for the rest of this time before the All-Star break and we come back, hopefully we have half capacity at that point for sure. We'll see. And we know Masai's working hard to get this for us. That's what he said yesterday. He's talking to the government and trying to get this done for us, y'all. He is the pressure that's helping for this. So Monty Python saying, gee, you took my thought. I was thinking maybe 8 to 10. Yeah, we'll see, guys. We'll see. And tomorrow we'll talk about this if you guys want to. We'll talk about who was right about how much Thaddeus Young was going to score in his Raptors debut. Money's saying, can you imagine if the Raptors traded OG, Fred VanVleet, Siakam, and Trent? You'd have 21 first-round picks. Why would you want that? Like, are we Oklahoma City? People, like I said this week, people overvalue first-round picks. If you get first-round picks, that means you're a shitty team. Like if you get lottery picks, that means you're a bad team. So why not be a good team and get new players and develop new stuff from later in the draft picks because you're winning and you still don't miss a beat. Like you don't need this huge home run player to come in. I think Scotty Barnes is that guy for us, and we got him now. Like this is a generational kind of guy. He should be our number one lottery pick kind of guy for like 5 or 6 years now, and we shouldn't get any more lottery picks because we shouldn't be anywhere near the lottery. That's what I'm saying. And like the Spurs for years and years were able to bring in new talent and stuff like that without having lottery picks every year. They have new good guys coming up all the time, and we need to do the same thing. If we're a copycat of the Spurs. We have been for a long time, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great team to copycat. It's just we're copycatting them just for the way they run their franchise and their development. And now other people are going to copycat us for our roster makeup and our philosophy and the way we play. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about our prospects for the rest of the year. I really feel like we can win a championship this year. Monty's saying you could redraft and rebuild both teams, 905 and NBA. I know. Why would we want to do that? We have, that's part of the thing. It's like what makes people stressed out and have anxiety in this world is the unknown. So if you have a lot of things that are already known, that's the thing about the Raptors. We have things that are known. We had known Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, Nick Nurse, known, proven. Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, known, proven. Why do you want to throw all these known, proven pieces in your franchise out for like unknowns? Who knows who these knuckleheads could be? 21 draft picks. So that's why I don't get behind the philosophy of what Philadelphia did with their tanks and things in the last 10 years, or Oklahoma City just stacking tons and tons of first round picks. It's like, what the fuck? You're basically like a starter team for new players, and none of them are going to stay. They're just going to leave. You're going to play a bunch of rookies every year. You'll have new rookies every year, but they'll continually leave. They'll just go and sign with other teams or whatever. You can't keep them all. So it's like, I don't understand their strategy at all. The Thunder are kind of fucked up, and they're going to be perpetually bad because of this. I really do believe this. I think that it's not a strength to have stockpile these picks. It's not. You want more on the ground that's real than like theoretical. So let's keep going.
They probably have more energy drinks at halftime too. I would think so. I would hope that they do, because I don't want them crashing in the middle of the game. Like, really watch Boucher, and maybe that's why Boucher looked so tired when he did that meme when he was laying there. He's like, oh, it's like 5 hour energy is running out. Oh. It really gives another context to that whole thing that happened when he was at the end of the bench collapsing like that now at this point. Monique saying, shout out Jeff Rocky, by the way. So good. And go open gym forever. Oh, you're talking about the people who make it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Dan Tolman, or like all the different people involved in Raptors media and stuff like that. I don't know their specific names, but man, they're so good, so professional. Open gym is something that's a luxury for our team. Other teams wish they had an open gym on for their teams. They try and mimic it and try and copycat it, but it's never exactly the same value production wise, or like just how amazing and open it is for the other teams. So LeBron doesn't want anybody following him around with cameras to see what kind of things he's doing. G's saying, you're reading my mind. I agree. No one wants to give into clutch anymore either and give them leverage. Yeah, I really do believe that this is part of it. Is like, it's the contract thing. Is that it's really smart strategy by the GM to not give them. And like, they could get a clip of the press conference, say, look, you just talked about how much you feel about Gary. This is the money we want, kind of thing, that kind of stuff. So that's really what it struck me as. It's not that he doesn't want him or have him as, it's just a strategy for negotiation. G saying, I think Gary is essential. He can create and defend. That's not easy to replace, in my opinion. Yeah, I think you're right too. And let's not get it twisted. Not read into this too much. That because Masai omitted his name yesterday is probably more what I'm saying. But I still think that he's a big part of what they want to do. That but also the part of what we do here with the Raptors is we develop guys from where they're lower and they can develop. And then when they develop and they've made it to that level, sometimes we let them go because we find the fruit during the development time. So in a way, if Gary gets too high to his ceiling, then it's almost like, well, we want to get the next guy in, like what we did with Norman, to like get the growth from the next guy who's going to see that jump. And that's where we get our gains. And that may be part of it also. Like, I'm not saying Gary should try and stop growing so quickly and hit, like, I think his ceiling is way, way, way higher, even more than what he's showing right now. Like, he can be more consistent, and like, he could be like a 30-point like scorer. Like, he could average 30 points a game for a season at some point in his career in the next 5 years. I really do feel like that. If he's on the right team, like if he was on Orlando, he'd average around 30 points. Oh yeah, if he was like their number one option over there. Okay, yeah, Monty's saying, if Gary gets traded, I'll quit, pack my shit up, and leave. Oh my gosh, another person talking about leaving, boycotting, all this kinds of overreactions. It's only going to happen if it makes sense. It's only going to happen if we get something good in return. It's like everybody got upset about Norman leaving last year. Now, how upset are people about that trade and what we did? And everybody thought, oh, we were just traded for the same guy. I'm like, no, we didn't. No, we didn't. So think about it from that perspective. If we do move Gary, it's probably hopefully going to be a positive, really good move for some reason. It may be like a DeMar for Kawhi kind of thing. Kind of stuff like that. So I think he's untouchable too. And honestly, I don't want him to get moved. I love him. I think he's a great fit. And I love that he said after the game the other day that Toronto is where he wants to be. And I think that is really true, and that we will take care of him. It's just that, like I said, strategy for negotiation. Don't mention him in the press conference, Masai Ujiri, because Clutch Sports will use that as ammunition when they're negotiating. Gary's untouchable. Alongside OG and Siakam, Fred VanVleet can be had, I feel. No, Fred's untouchable too. Fred gives us so many different intangibles, and honestly, he's our leader. He is the head of the snake, and we don't want to mess with that. That is something that's really important because he's setting an incredible tone for our team right now. With his leadership, his discipline, his work ethic, the things he does, it sets the tone all the way down through the roster. And it's a badass tone that he's setting. Like Kyle set that tone for many years for the Raptors. And in some ways, Kyle's an amazing player. He works really hard. He does a lot of things, but there's some areas where Kyle's lazy and doesn't work as hard in. And we are seeing that Fred is a little bit better in those areas because we're doing better in those ones. Like whether it's like one of the ones I'll point to is this past week, we played Houston and Oklahoma City. These are both shitty teams. And in the past, maybe a Kyle Lowry led team may have taken them not as seriously, not prepared as well because, this is Houston. What do we give a fuck? We're going to beat them no matter what. And I think that in some ways we would come out flat when Lowry is the leader just because of those lower opponents. And then it may be different under Fred's leadership that he's the kind of guy who's like, guys, we can't take a night off. It doesn't matter who the fuck we're playing. We're going to come out there with the same effort and kind of stuff. Whereas Kyle may have been more likely to be like, guys, we can slack a little bit tonight. We're playing a lesser opponent kind of thing. That's what I'm saying. Those little differences like that. So don't discount Fred. Fred is untouchable to me. And honestly, like there's so many of these guys that I want to say that are just untradeable. Really, they really are. The trade deadline may have just proved that. Like people wanted Pascal. They wanted OG. They wanted Fred. They probably offered all kinds of crazy shit for them. But I think they're untouchable right now. Just as far as like, this is the core, this is what's working, this is the vibe. And you fuck it up. If you take Fred off the team, you really fuck it up. He's like so essential right now. He really is. So let me just reiterate this over and over again, Monty. Gary and OG, the engine, untouchable. Yeah, see, none of them. Not even Chris, not even Precious, not even Kem. None of them are touchable. I want them all to stay here. Let's see. Tom Duke saying Gary's still averaging 2 steals per game, number 2 in steals in the NBA. He jumped around. He was 1 at the beginning of the year. Now I saw him as low as like 4th or 5th, but now he's in 2nd again. That's really good. And that's probably from the last game that he had like 5 steals in this last game where he got 42 points. So that probably helped a lot in that last one. Monty's saying, combine Gary and OG's defensive efforts together. That's championship stuff. Yeah. I think if you combine their defensive efforts, Fred's defensive effort, Pascal's defensive effort, Chris Boucher finally playing defense, Precious and Cam with their big size. Yeah, the defense all around is like, this is the thing. We don't have any half-assed defenders right now. We have all plus defenders at every single position. And not only that, we have plus defenders that come off the bench. So we have 5 starters that are plus defenders, and then we have plus defenders that are coming off the bench too. That's just something that we don't have any weak links. That's what I'm saying. And I love that. I love that. It's like every single Raptor team, even the championship team, had a weak link on defense. And this one doesn't. That's the difference. And nobody's figured out our defense yet. Seriously, nobody has figured it out how to absolutely beat us or overcome our defense. Nobody. We lose on defense because we make lapses. But when we're clicking and it's sealed and it's working exactly right, nobody's beat it. Nobody has proven that they can beat the Raptors defense consistently yet this season. Nobody. All right, let's see. Number special. Gary Trent Jr. is the Electro Raptor. I mean, did y'all like the Incredible Hulk thing that I just did? I mean, maybe it was too far out and weird. Like, Callie thinks I've lost my mind now because I did the whole McDonald's with the wrestler story. But I just wanted to incorporate a little bit of my love of professional wrestling and the crazy history of that into it. And if y'all, seriously, go look up the Mr. Sato, Ken Patera story about the McDonald's. It's all online, all over the place. You can read exactly what happened. It's a crazy story. All right, let's see. Fan Chong, good morning. Welcome. So glad to see you here. We're here at some point between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern time every morning talking daily Raptors. Richard Jefferson said on NBA Today that Raptors fans are disillusioned if they think Raptors are top 4 team in the East. Comments. Okay. All right. Dick Jefferson. I call him Dick because he's a dick. He even looks like a dick, like his head. He looks like a dick. So I call him Dick Jefferson. Dick Jefferson's been a Raptor hater for a long time. Since he was a player, he's been a Raptor hater. He was on a team with Vince when he left us and went to New Jersey. And, he was buddies with Vince. And, he's just a fucking dick. His name is Dick. I don't call him Richard. His name is Dick Jefferson. And I mean that he's a dick. He's always discounted us. There's notorious Raptor discounters. Him, Paul Pierce are 2 of the biggest ones. They're the 2 of the biggest ones. They always put us down. And also, listen, he's coming from a standpoint that he's a New Jersey person. He's a Cleveland person. He's a Cavs fan. And he's probably way overvaluing the Cavaliers right now. He's probably saying the Cavaliers have a chance to win the championship right now. Well, motherfucker, Richard Jefferson, Dick Jefferson, I'm going to tell you right now, with your stupid ass tattoos, Yeah, you got dumbass tattoos. You got tattoos that look like a little kid drew on your skin. Yeah, you dumbass. If you think Cleveland can win the championship, well, you better fucking say that Toronto can win the championship too, because we're the same goddamn place as them. Oh, yeah, we're at the same fucking place to possibly win a championship. So, motherfucker, if you're going to go around and say that you think that the Cleveland Cavaliers can win the championship this year, you better motherfucking say that the Raptors can too. And you know what? If you think I'm disillusioned, well, you're not looking at the straight up facts on the reality of the basketball theory that's been built here in Toronto, Dick Jefferson. You are not looking, you don't have your eyes open wide enough. Maybe you need to go get some glasses, because you need to see what the Raptors are doing night in, night out in this win streak, and that we are one of the top teams since the beginning of December. If you look at our record overall, we're up there with Golden State and Phoenix as far as our record in the last 2 months. So, Dick, you lose your credibility every single time you put down the Raptors, because you fucking have a grudge against us. You are a Raptor hater. You always have been, and you're a fuck. You are an idiot. I hate that they give you airtime, you and your stupid open coat bullshit. They shouldn't be giving you airtime because you're biased and you sound stupid, Dick Jefferson. So fuck off. You think we're disillusioned? We're just as disillusioned as any Cleveland fan right now and how they believe in their team right now. Yeah, I'm going to tell you that right now. It's exactly the same. It's even. Cleveland and Toronto right now, it's even. So if you're going to give Cleveland kudos and say they can win a championship, you better fucking open your eyes a little wider and see what this positionless defensive shit that we're doing up here north of the border is. In fact, I invite you to watch how we are going to take apart the Denver Nuggets tonight, Dick Jefferson, because I don't even think you're watching us. I think you just by default say, well, the Raptors aren't going to do anything, because in your head you think that. Yeah. Oh, I hate Richard Jefferson so much. I'm glad you brought him up, fan. I know you bringing that up was because you wanted to hear what I would say just now. Yeah, he looks like little kids draw on his body and then they fill it in as a tattoo. Dick Jefferson looking like a dick. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see. Monty Python saying could be some validity to that. You know, what are you saying? But actions speak louder than words would be my reply. Okay, listen, like, I don't know if you're replying to what he's saying there. I don't know about validity. Listen, every sports fan, this is what fan is the word. Fan is a shortened word for fanatic, okay? And a fanatic believes in what they believe. And maybe they are a little disillusioned. Fanatics, religious fanatics for sports or whatever. But that's the thing. Do you think a Cleveland Browns fan every season doesn't have some sort of hope that they're like, this team could win a Super Bowl at the end of the year, that they sound fucking disillusioned, but they're just fans of their team and they love it and they want the best for them? Then that, yeah, call me disillusioned. But there's a lot of basis in reality for what I'm saying here. And it's the eye test. It's basketball theory. It's understanding how basketball is played, how you win basketball games, and seeing what's there. And that's what I'm talking about. And I don't think that's disillusioned. I think there's a lot of basis in reality when you think about it, really. And I think that Richard Jefferson's disillusioning himself just with his own bias ahead of it. That's what's happening. So, yeah. All right, let's see. Monique's saying the media is talking to Gary Trent Sr. about Jr. so much more about check Sr.'s Instagram. Yeah, Gary Trent Sr. is like a star this week. He's getting so many requests. He's talking so many different ways. He's just hyping his son up. He's like talking about there's no swag. Gary Trent Jr. is swag. Just some of the stuff he's saying is off the chain. And he's proud of his son, and his son's rolling. There's nothing wrong with this. Go on then, Gary Trent Sr. I love it. Let's see. Monty's saying, and no less delusional than Cleveland fans. Well, yeah, exactly what I'm saying here, Monty. It's exactly the same position. It's not like Cleveland has done anything recently other than when with LeBron, like way before that last championship, the only championship for Cleveland. So it's like, what the fuck are they basing all this stuff for them on? Evan Mobley and what they're doing with their franchise. Sure, their record's a little bit better than ours, but we're coming. We're coming. Oh, yeah, we're coming. So, yeah, it's the same thing. G's saying, nah, media always putting down the Raptors. Who cares? Bunch of paid puppets. He's exactly right. G's exactly right. And like I said, Dick Jefferson is notorious for doing this kind of shit. I hated him as a player. I hate him as an analyst since. He's a piece of shit, honestly, to me. I don't like the dude. I think he's awful. And he's exactly the kind of person the NBA puts on TV to talk the Raptors down, to do that dirty kind of work. Him and Paul Pierce were absolutely the worst in the last 10, 15 years of doing this. And they have personal grudges against our team. They played against us in playoff series, and they've had issues with the Raptors, whether they beat us or, they just don't like our team because it's Canadian. I don't fucking know what his problem is with the Raptors. So fuck you, Dick Jefferson. That's all I'll say. I'll say it over and over again on this live stream. Fuck you, Dick Jefferson, with your children drawing cartoon tattoos. Oh my gosh. All right, let's keep going. Monty, I know, it's hard to take anything they say seriously about any team. Yeah, I agree with that. Lumpy Rex, let's go, Raptor Freaks. Yeah. Oh, Click 2EM's here. I hadn't seen you in a bit, Click. So good to see you, man. Oh, yeah, I got to catch up. You guys are way up ahead. Click saying, I'm at work, but tonight's a must win. The Celtics and Raptors are hot at the same time. Yeah, Celtics shown they can beat Denver. We need to replicate that. We can't have a letdown. We don't want to be the first team to blink between the Celtics and us. We want them to lose a game before we lose our win streak. So we got to take care of business tonight. We got to get 9. So it's a must win to protect the streak and to also show that we can do what the Celtics did last night, but even better. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Remember they called Masai crazy for taking Barnes. They called Luka a bust. I could go in about every horrible take they've had. Yeah, they're stupid. Listen, we can get a highlight reel of the best of Richard Jefferson, Paul Pierce. You can just see how fucking tacky and off they are with their predictions. Like these motherfuckers every year, they always pick the Raptors not to make the playoffs, and we fucking show them up. We did it pretty much for like a decade. It was like the same thing every year. Oh, the Raptors won't be that good. And then we come back, Kawhi leaves, and we're still fucking the best record in the league pretty much. So it's like shit like that. It's like they're going to discount us. They give us a discount in their own heads. And it's hard for them to get past it when they realize that we're actually real deal Holyfield. So it is whatever. Every single year it's the same shit. So yeah, like that is a case in point right there. Mic drop. Exactly. Glenn Grunwald. Yeah, there's a name for you. Yeah, he was a very nice man. When I met Glenn Grunwald and interacted with him personally on an individual level at the sub stand, he was a very nice dude. He treated me like any other employee of the Raptors at that time, even though I was just a lowly sub maker. He was very kind and very nice to me. He gave me a moment and we talked for a bit. It was very nice. Yeah, I wonder what Glenny is doing now these days. Who knows? Hopefully he's retired. He's a lot older now and stuff like that. He's probably doing okay. Andrew, let's go, Raptors. Number 9. Let's get it. We'll be fine. Let's get number 9. Tom Duke. He's doing great stuff with B-Ball Canada. Next thing is hiring Nick Nurse. Okay, so he just answered the Glenn Grunwald question. He's involved in Basketball Canada, and he's working with Nick Nurse in that place. Brian popped collar Colangelo. Yeah, Colangelo should have stuck to soccer. That's an interesting take, Monty. That's right. He was involved in that. Seymour Pape, good to see you as usual, always this morning. He is backing me up what I'm saying here. ESPN's Richard Jefferson just called us Raptors fans delusional on thinking we were a good team. Oh, my gosh. Whoa, Richard Jefferson. We're going to keep this clip, and we're going to play it all over the place at the end of the year when we're holding our second Larry O.B., baby. Woo. They think we're delusional. Yeah, go ahead and think I'm crazy, but watch. We'll see how fucking crazy we are when we fuck around and get a championship. Oh, yeah, maybe not this year, but next year. Oh, yeah, we're going to get one in the next 3 years, Dick Jefferson. We're going to get one before the fucking Nets will. I'll tell you that right now. We're going to get a championship before the Nets. We'll get a championship before Philly. Yeah, we'll get one before Boston. Before all those Atlantic Division teams, we will get a championship before them. I will make a bet. If that makes me disillusioned, then put me in the fucking paddy wagon and take me to the crazy house. Oh, yeah. All right, let's keep going. Monique saying, it's funny because you met Glenn 2 years ago before the pandemic. That's awesome. Yeah, he's a really nice man, isn't he, Monique? I met him way back, like in 2000, like way back, 1999, 2000 is when I met him. Andrew saying all of our rivals won last night, so we need to get a dub tonight. Yeah, watching the scoreboard these days is like beat Western Conference teams, beat Eastern Conference teams, please. Please, if you're lower than us in the standings, beat the teams above us, please. And none of that happened last night. Although the Spurs did win their game against Charlotte. Was it Charlotte? They were playing somebody last night that was in Eastern Conference, and they kicked their ass, which was good. It was Atlanta. They beat Atlanta last night, San Antonio, which helps us. That helped us a bit to keep Atlanta lower and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's the way I'm looking at the scoreboard now with the NBA right now is every Eastern team other than us, I want them to be beaten. And if they're above us, I want them to be beaten by a lower team below us. So, yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it, too. But all of them won last night. Yeah, they were all having a good night last night. Monty's saying, agreed, Thad is going to live off the land tonight. All right, we'll see. Let's see what he does. You guys may have high expectations. What if he just comes in and he just has solid minutes? Like he comes in for 10 minutes, he gets 5 rebounds, he makes like four points, and he gets a block, something like that. Would you be happy with that? I mean, if it contributes to a win overall. Morning, is Thad Young going to play today? Yes. Yes, he will play today. I'm pretty sure he will get put into the game. He's ready to play. He passed his physical. He's in Toronto. He's got his uniforms. I think he's wearing number 30, and he should show up tonight and be playing in the game, Summer. So, yeah. And Monique said the same thing. Okay, Monty, I think Thad fits perfect on this team because he's another guy that can create his own offense. There's a few like that now on Le Squadron. Yes. Yeah. That's like everybody on the team has to be a 5-tool player. Like I'm saying, they got to rebound. They got to score. They got to be able to dribble. They got to be able to play defense. They got to be able to do it all. And Thad is able to do it all. And he's older. That's the thing. Let's see. Yeah, that was really nice of you, Monique, to answer Summer. Anytime. I'm a little behind, obviously, so I'll get to the answer eventually. But hey, if you guys want to answer and help people out before I get there, that's good too. Seymour Pape, imagine we listened to Kawhi and traded for Westbrook and Paul George. Great move by Toronto for sticking with the guns because Paul George, Kawhi, and Westbrook all out of sorts. Yeah, that's the thing, man. This was a superstar league. LeBron, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, all this kind of stuff. But this league is going to be different. It's going to be team concept. It's going to be really going about having an overall scheme to your team and making sure that the players on your roster fit that kind of concept that you're doing. And it's going to change a lot in the near future. And that if we'd gone with Kawhi as our GM after we won the championship, our team would be so fucked up at this point in 2022. Like, seriously, we would look more like the Clippers right now. Kawhi would be sitting out for the whole year, not playing a whole lot. And we'd have like him messing with our roster and the different things, and the chemistry would be all fucked up. Like the Clippers are fucked up. I don't really think that they're a real contender out west. Like people think they're a contender and all this kind of shit, but they're not. They're kind of really fucked up. And we would be them. If we had said, yes, Kawhi, we want you to stay. You are our GM. Please, yes, we'll make this deal for you. We'll bring in these idiots, and you can have them that are hurt and causing problems and stuff like that. Thank God. Thank God. Because we're seeing with the 2 LA teams what happens when you let your number one superstar be your GM. We see what happens. Those teams suck. That's what happens. You need a job delineation. I'm the GM. You are the superstar franchise player. There's not the same. You can't do that. Retire and then come back, and then we can try you at a GM, and then you can fail miserably and get fired and never be that job again. Yeah, because that's how it happens. But they can't be fired if they're the franchise player. There are GMs that would have got fired because they're so shitty at the job if they were just the GM. But because they're the important player on the team, they can't be fired. So they're a GM. That's actually worse because that means you have a GM that's really bad that you can't fire. So think about it that way. We don't want a GM like that. We have a GM that's actually a GM and not a player. And thank God we dodged that bullet, Seymour. Because seriously, that was a huge thing. That was a decision that Masai had the guts to stand up to Kawhi and say, no, we're not fucking giving you this shit just to make you stay here. No. And thank God he did that. Yeah. Westbrook is fun to watch when he's on the Lakers. I think he's fun to watch on the Lakers because it's such a disaster. Yeah, he's getting benched now. And did you hear what he said? He's hurt now because he's been sitting on the bench too much because he doesn't get to stretch his body out. That he's blaming his recent injury on too much bench time from sitting too much. I've never fucking heard that before. I think that's hilarious, honestly, that Westbrook is hurt because he's been on the bench too much. That's what he's blaming. Oh my God, crazy. Yeah. Andrew says the fact that Gary Sr. is part of the Raptors history is important. Gary Jr. isn't just stats and a box score. He's a part of our history now, too. He's a legacy. He's a legacy player from the legacy of his father before to him now. And it's nice because other teams have had these kind of legacy connections over their history as they become older franchises. Like think about the Celtics, all the different kind of legacy stuff that's happened with them. I don't know because I don't personally care or pay attention to their history, but I'm sure because they've been in the league since the beginning, there's been some sort of legacy player like this. And it just shows that our franchise is maturing and having been like around for 25 years, that we can have a father that played for our team and now their son is playing on our team. That's awesome. That means we're not a expansion franchise. That's for sure. So I love it. I love that whole aspect of it. We all know we won the Gary trade. Yes, I love Norman. Norman is great. I'm glad he's in LA with the Clippers now and he's happy. But yeah, we won that trade for sure. Yeah. And honestly, some people are going to say that we lost the Lowry trade last year, but I think the jury's out on that until we see what Precious absolutely does with his game to the level that he's going to get to. So nobody, all the Miami fans are going to say they won the Miami trade no matter what. But, let's see who feels like they won that trade in about 3 or 4 years. Yeah. Let's revisit it then. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Let's keep going. Summer Lowe saying, wonder if Gary will get a chance at most improved player. That's actually really interesting observation, Summer. I hadn't really thought about this at all. Nobody's really brought it up, but that is actually a real reality that Gary Trent Jr. should be considered for most improved player just because of the leaps and bounds he's made on the defensive end with his stealing. And, it won't hurt if he gets some more 30 and 40-point games by the end of the season. That will help. And maybe he could be like Pascal Siakam and get a most improved player. Like, I love that idea. Honestly, I'm surprised nobody's brought that up or talked about this until now because it totally makes sense, Summer. Good job. Let's see. Andrew, as far as I'm concerned, our starting five are untouchable. 3 of them could be future statues in front of the arena. They are those types of franchise cornerstones. Pascal, Fred, Scotty. Yeah, I agree with this. Even OG to a degree. Like, seriously, man, the premium talent, the level of talent that these guys all around have, like other teams want to scramble and try and collect as many of these kind of guys together, but they can't. Partly because we've already been hoarding them on the down low without them even knowing. We've already been going and getting all the best ones of these kind of guys, whether it's through the draft or acquiring and stuff like that. And, they may not be able to get, they'll get the wish version of OG Anunoby. They'll get the wish version of Pascal Siakam. They'll get the wish version of Scotty Barnes. And we'll have the real versions. And that'll be the difference in quality, is that we'll have the original, the best, the prototype, and they're going to have copies that are going to be like a little smudged, a little bit not on center, not the same as our copy. Our copy will be perfect, pristine, and they'll have like a wish version of what we're doing. Orlando, yeah, there we go. Gary MIP, I love that. Let's get that hashtag going. Summer has really lit a fire here, and Monique, let's carry this banner that we want Nick Nurse to get Coach of the Year. We want Pascal Siakam All NBA team, and we want Gary Trent Jr. to be Scotty Barnes Rookie of the Year and Gary Trent Jr. Most Improved Player of the Year. Yeah, let's sweep a whole bunch of awards this year. Oh yeah, Monty's saying like our whole squad could clean up all the awards. Yeah, just what I was saying, for real. Andrew, Dick Jefferson's judgment is clouded from being carried by LeBron all those years. Yes, totally. You're right, Dick. Dick Jefferson, his cartoon drawing skin. Yeah. And like also, he was there when Vince went to New Jersey. And he was there. He was one of those 3. It was Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, and Vince Carter were like their 3 big dudes. So he was a whole part of like that awful time when they were hurting us when Vince left. And it was just like stabbing a wound because Vince was gone all of a sudden. He had didn't try for us in the last little bit when he played for us. And then all of a sudden he goes to New Jersey and he's balling out. He's playing amazing ball. It pissed me off, and I'll never forgive Vince Carter for that. That's why Vince Carter is not a name that I push on this channel. He's not a person that I honor or I care about. I know he's important to the Raptors history. He has a legacy with this team. He's important to Canada basketball and this growth of the game here, but I despise him personally in a lot of ways just because he broke so many golden rules as a professional. And it pisses me off to this day. And that Richard Jefferson being on that team with Vince and being a part of that team that beat us in the playoffs afterwards, when he left, I fucking hate all of them. I hate Jason Kidd. I hate Richard Jefferson. And I hate Vince. I really do. That's why I never owned a 15 jersey. I was in the Vince club, the fan club, the Club 15. Like this very exclusive fan club that he started when he came to Toronto. I fucking pushed the hell out of Vince. I was calling Fan 590 every night, telling them we have a special player when we first drafted him in 1999, and was pushing the hell out of him on the social media, not social media, on sports media and the radio, because there was no Facebook back then. And people thought it was crazy. I was saying, this guy's really good. And I was saying all this stuff. And then he disappointed me so much. He pissed me off so bad with the thing that happened with Babcock and him going to fucking New Jersey and shit like that. And Richard Jefferson is involved in all that. And he was there with that. And he was on those LeBron Cleveland teams that fucked us up in the playoffs with DeMar and Kyle. So yeah, I hate that motherfucker. He is a hated person in Raptors world, Jefferson. And anything he says, I take with a grain of salt. Actually, if I see he's a part of a broadcast, I switch it. I don't watch him. I just turn it right off. He's a non-starter. So yeah, Monty, I'm your hero. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh. I want you in my corner when I'm going through a tough time. Listen, man, listen, I'm a sponsor for people too. Like, I'm an AA and I'm an alcoholic, and I help people get sober, and I help people do all kinds of stuff. I can be a life coach. I can be somebody that can give somebody good self-esteem and feeling good about yourself. Monty, you know what? That's part of what I'll do here. If you have issues, like, I'm so open. If you want to talk about something that's going on with you with a tough time, and you don't want to put it here, you want to contact me directly, I'm here for you guys, because I do that for so many different people in my life already that I care about. And y'all are people that I care about. So if you're going through a tough time, I'll do some coaching for you. I can help you see the light. I can help you get through it. Just ask, and I'm there, bro. Right there. All right, I will tell you to go watch some marbles. Oh, yeah, I will. Race Mode Daily, always good to see you. I'm glad to see you, my friend. Good morning. Let's get that positive energy going for the dub tonight. Let's go. Yes, I feel real good about tonight. We just really need to make Jokic be a detriment, not a good thing for them. Like, he can be a good thing for them and be very dominant. But like you guys have said earlier, that team comes and goes with Jokic. And if Jokic isn't playing well, or he's not able to do what he's supposed to do on the court, then Denver struggles. So if we can really make Jokic specifically struggle with double teaming him, just aggravating him, poking the ball out of his hands like about Boston did last night, then we should be okay. He got 9 turnovers personally last night, Nikola Jokic. So look, we can get the getting. We go in there and get it. We can get it from him. We can. I love it. I want to see. That's why I put that picture for this stream of Malachi getting all in the face of the Denver Nuggets, because that's what I want to see tonight. Us getting real physical with them, playing dirty. We're already out on the open that we're a dirty team. We'll play dirty tonight, and we'll make it real physical tonight and see if we can make it uncomfortable for the Joker. Oh, yeah. That's what I want to see. Oh, yeah. Khaled, good morning to you. I see that you've taken back your statements, but that's fine. 100%. Tom Duke. Andrew, we got the last laugh on Dick Jefferson by winning the chip. Yeah, these guys, they changed their tune real quick in 2019 when they're like, the Raptors aren't a playoff team. Oh, the Raptors are in the playoffs. Oh, the Raptors are in the Eastern Conference Finals. Oh, the Raptors are in the finals. Like, every step, Paul Pierce was just wrong. He kept picking wrong. And then at the end, he finally was like, I think the Raptors are going to do good. And it's hilarious. Like, oh, man, I love when these guys are wrong and that they're so fucking asinine and stupid. So I just don't listen to them. I don't listen to those two in particular. I just thought it was so funny when Paul Pierce got fired by ESPN because of his little drunk booty hole party that he had at his house with a bunch of strippers on his knee. And he's like drunk and he's like, ah, and they fired him the next day. What an idiot, man. That's what I'm saying. These guys are jabronis. Let's not listen to them. Race Mode Daily. The East is wide open. I won't be shocked when we win the conference finals. Yes, this is the kind of thinking I'm talking about. Is like, it is wide open. And all of the prognosticators, our experts, are saying this right now. Paul Jones, Leo Routens, Sherman Hamilton, they're all saying there isn't a team in the East that the Raptors should be scared of, that it is wide open. And these guys are experts. They know better than Dick Jefferson because they're watching us every single game. And they're seeing on the ground how special this Raptor team is, and that Dick Jefferson just doesn't want to believe the truth. He's disillusioned because he doesn't want to. He's like he's in that courtroom with Jack Nicholson. He can't handle the truth, so he don't want to look at it. So he'd rather just not pay attention to us and just say that we're disillusioned when he's probably not even getting the facts because he's not even looking because he doesn't watch us. I'll bet you money he never watches the Raptors play. Seriously. And he's just making that up out the top of his head because he's already biased against us. So Monique's saying Dick Jefferson had negative comments on Fred before he came in All-Star. Yeah, see, he doesn't fucking know what he's talking about. Like, you can't diss Fred at this point. Fred is a self-made man who came from nowhere, and now he's an all-star. He wasn't drafted. He was a 15th player on the Raptors roster like 5 years ago. What the fuck? This man went from 15th on our roster to being our all-star this year. Dick Jefferson, give him some respect. You are such a piece of shit, honestly. I hope you watch this. Seriously. I want you to hear me talk, making fun of your tattoos. Oh, yeah. Rio McLovin, what's up? What's up? Yeah, McLovin, I'm glad you're here. We had a whole McDonald's aspect to this show today because of the Nuggets. We're playing the Nuggets, and the real mascot matchup today was off the chain, y'all. It was crazy. I mean, I don't know if it was too much of a mashup with wrestling and Incredible Hulk and McDonald's and all that, but, I thought it was awesome. Some people think I'm crazy now, though. I am crazy, though. Monty, I like the fact that Thad is a man's man. Thad is literally a man amongst boys on this team. He's going to show this young squad of bullies how to play bully ball for real. Wow, that's interesting. Well, he's 33. Yeah, he's older. And I just really like that he's going to be an older kind of like experienced kind of guy. The fact that he's played a lot of playoff games, like this is serious. On the down low, we're not even talking about this enough. Thaddeus Young has been in the playoffs a lot. He's played in a lot of playoff intensity kind of games. So that's going to be really invaluable later in the season also when we get to that point, because we needed more playoff experience on this team, honestly. It couldn't just be Pascal and Fred and OG to an extent, but it really is just Pascal and Fred on our whole entire team that has real playoff experience. Like, OG does from the bubble, but he missed the whole championship run. So it's like we need more guys that have been in the fire for sure. And that'll help us for sure. Monty said, teams hated playing us before. Just wait. Yeah, it's only going to get nastier and worse. Like, we already are putting clamps on people, and we're not even that efficient at it yet. We can get so much more efficient. That's what these assistant coaches are doing. They're looking at every little nuance of different things on our defense, and they're tinkering, and they're like, if we do this just slightly better, we'll be more efficient at stopping them this way. And they're going to do that. They're going to ratchet it up. It's like the other teams are on a rack, and we're just cranking it like, making it more tight on them. And it's just going to get tighter because we're going to get better and better, more familiar, more better. Part of the big reason why our defense is doing so much better during this win streak is our communication is off the charts right now. Whether it's between the players actually on the court, they're so comfortable with telling each other and communicating in the seconds, the milliseconds to change and switch and stuff like that. That's huge. And then Nick is directing from the sideline so well and different things, and they're really tightening things up. And that's the thing. They can improve on it still, and we're already showing we're unstoppable on defense. They can't beat us. So, yeah, exactly. Just wait. Just wait. They don't like it now. We're just, tightening that rack that we got them on. Oh, yeah, gee, like that. That is going to lead the bully ball in the second lineup. Yeah, I want to see how much kind of an edge he has. I haven't seen him play, to be honest, in a couple of years because he hasn't played really that much this year. And honestly, when he was on the Bulls last year, he wasn't really a focal guy. And the Bulls were different without DeMar last year. They were kind of lost, and it was just kind of like a collection of dudes like Markkanen and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a totally different Bulls team. So I'm interested to see what's in the tank with Thaddeus Young tonight still. We'll see. Monty's saying now there will be no intensity drop-off for real. Hopefully, we'll see. Like, I don't think we've had any kind of intensity drop-offs recently at all. It was really when we were still trying to plug in those bench guys, we'd get a drop-off for sure. As soon as a couple of them came in, there was like just a lower quality in how we were playing defense and executing on offense. And now it's not like that. I think it's all right. JT416, good morning. Always good to see you, my man. Hope you and the family is all good. 8. We coming for the first spot. Yes, I love that kind of attitude. It'd be tough to get number one in the East, but it's possible. We're not that far out. Like, what is it? It's like we're 4 games out of number one right now. And if we keep winning at the clip we're on, yeah, why not? Why not aim for the moon? Go all the way to the top and be number one. And that's really a way you get respect. And as a byproduct, that guys like we're talking about get more consideration for some of these awards that we're talking about, especially Scotty with the Rookie of the Year and Nick Nurse for Coach of the Year. Those two will really get major consideration if we get to number one in the Eastern Conference by the end of the year. Yeah, I love it. I love that. And I see it's possible. I totally see it's possible. And Dick Jefferson can think I'm delusional. That's fine. Monique saying Glenn recently stepped down from Canada basketball. Okay, so he was involved, but he's not involved anymore. It may be that he retired. I think he did. I think that he's older. He's an older guy. So it just makes sense that maybe he's not involved anymore. Monty saying, well, LeBron did win a chip first in LA, but we don't count the bubble chips. LeBron won championships before that. Don't you remember, Monty? I mean, he did win in Miami and Cleveland before LA. It's Davis who just won there. But yeah. Anyway, that. I'm not pointing out anything. All right, let's see. Monique saying Michael Bartlett is taking over for Canada basketball now. He works for MLSE. Okay, so Michael Bartlett's in charge of where Glenn Grunwald used to be. Andrew, Vince Carter low-key sucks as a commentator. He doesn't have a whole lot to say. He's kind of a male bimbo, a himbo. Yeah, I hate Vince on the commentary. In fact, he did a game, I think last season, that I watched that the Raptors played in, and he was dissing us straight up. That's another reason why I don't like him. Like, he disses the Raptors franchise on the down low. Like, he's never fully embraced being a Raptor, a former Raptor, and the things like with us. It's really hard for us to get him to come back to Toronto and do anything with our franchise. That shows that he's not really a real dude with us. Like, seriously, think about how much Alvin, Muggsy, Jerome Williams, even Del Curry, different people like that could be on other sides have still been a part of our franchise. Charles Oakley, a same kind of thing. And Vince has not. He's cut his ties with us and does not embrace his legacy with the Raptors like other former Raptors do. And that's why I say, fuck you, Vince. Like, honestly, I know a lot of young people had him as their favorite player and they love him. And they get upset when I say something like that as a Raptor fan, because to them, Vince Carter is of everything for them in some ways. But no, fuck him to me. That's how I feel about him. I forgive him a bit because he's retired now. But every single time he was still playing in the league, I was still like, fuck you, Vince, you piece of shit. And you're right. He's not very good on commentary. He's annoying. And like I said, the game I saw him call for us, he was putting us down on the down low, and it pissed me off because honestly, like, it just showed. I think in some ways, some of these guys who used to be connected with the Raptors like to show that they have no favoritism for them when they're in U.S. media and on TV. So they really put us down. Like, Sam Mitchell's done the same shit. I don't have a lot of respect for Sam Mitchell either. He makes me mad also because he'll go on NBA TV in the States and he'll say some crazy ass shit about the Raptors, even though he's been fucking watching us because of TSN. He'll go on there and he'll say some baloney ass shit, like discounting us, even though he's actually been watching us. Like, he's the dumbass who's always putting us out of the playoffs at the beginning of the year on NBA TV, even though he follows the fucking team. Sam Mitchell, you get fooled every fucking year when you pick us to not make the playoffs, you dumbass. You have no credibility because you're not looking at it objectively. For some reason, you discount us just like Richard Jefferson and other people like that. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of him on there either. And he pissed me off last year. Fred Van Thief. And Scary Gary will pick Joker's pockets. Yeah, I think this is like a crazy double. Like OG, Pascal, like just fuck him up. Really make him have a hard time. We want to see him so frustrated, have a deep, deep case of OG-itis where he has to get the the real deep cream for tomorrow morning after the game, because he's like, "Ooh, I got OGitis real bad in my joints from being defended by a really plus defensive team last night, all night." Yeah. Kareem Thomas, good morning. Always good to see new names on here. We're here every morning live from between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. talking positive Raptors talk about whatever's going on with them that day. Van Vliet wins 3-point competition, does a 360 dunk in All-Star game. What? This dude, you are predicting some stuff that's wild. I love this. I really love the idea of him winning the 3-point competition. I think that he's a good bet. He bets on himself. I think we should all bet on him too. I think a lot of other people, but that competition is going to be stiff. There's a lot of good 3-point shooters in that field of 8, and it's going to be a lot of fun. That may be one of the most exciting things about the All-Star weekend coming up is the 3-point shootout. And also the Rising Stars is going to be a lot of fun too. Scotty wins skills competition, and oh my God, dunks all over Evan Mobley. Precious wins MVP, whatever the fuck they call that game. I love that, man. Kareem, you're hilarious. The Clorox Rising Stars competition. Yeah, it's a tournament now because there's 4 teams and they're going to play 2 semifinals and then there'll be a final game. And I like that you divvied it up between everybody, that you want Scotty to win the skills competition and get a big badass dunk on Evan Mobley, but then you want Precious to win the MVP. I love that, man. This dude's a real one. I already can tell. I hope you come here every morning, Kareem, because your attitude is the perfect kind of Raptors freak attitude for sure, bro. And I love your predictions. I hope every single one of them come true. Exactly. Yes. Monique's saying, does Malachi Flynn get minutes tonight? Well, we look at whether Fred plays or not. Like if Fred doesn't play tonight, for sure. But if Fred's going to play tonight, I don't think Malachi will play tonight. Just because Fred will take care of that little guard running around like we've been talking about the last couple of days, how he had to do Jalen Green the other night. Malachi Flynn had to come in basically to try and chase Jalen Green down against the Rockets. And I don't know if they'll have that kind of a small point guard focal point on their offense with the Nuggets tonight. So if Fred's playing, probably not. But if Fred is not playing, then I could see Malachi getting some run tonight for sure. Yeah, I think that's the big difference is Fred being in the game or not. Andrew, the fact that our team is near the top teams with so many young players who still have upside is crazy. Yes, this is the thing. Like if we were the Miami Heat, the NBA media in the U.S. would be talking about how we're the new dynasty for sure. Like they would just annoyed us this already without causing all this disillusion, like this questions and like, oh, are they for real and stuff like that. That's the thing. There's an information war to a degree with all this. And that's part of what Dick Jefferson's doing. He's trying to tell us that we're crazy for believing in our team, even though the evidence is on the court. It's gaslighting, y'all. The NBA media in the U.S. gaslights the Canadian Raptor fans into thinking we're not good enough and that we're not good enough. And that makes us lower expectations and makes us get down on our team. That's part of the echo chamber that makes the Raptors fan nation be so negative, is because they get their media also from the U.S. They're hearing the U.S. voices put us down and they parrot and echo what they think. That's why these fans that think that they're Raptor fans, if they're listening to Richard Jefferson and just believing what he's saying, then they're not fucking fans because you're not getting it from the right source. It's like Fox News kind of shit. Yeah, they're spinning it a certain way because they want the reality to be a certain way to fit the NBA's narrative that they want from their front office. And the Raptors being a top team in the NBA is not necessarily a narrative that they want. So if they can try and make it not seem like that's true, they'll do it any possible way that they can. Oh, yeah. And the upside for us is crazy good. We're so young and we're already so fucking good. This is really true. And that something's going to happen. Oh, yeah. Something's going to happen because we're going to get better and better. And we're already super fucking good. Like we're a playoff team. But this is the thing. We get good so fast. We could be a championship team by the end of this season. Like but in March, by that point, let's see what level we're playing at that point. And maybe the rest of the league will be saying, well, they're actually a championship contender. And we didn't realize it because we developed that quickly over the course of the season. That's what's going on right now. Oh, yeah. Family, good morning. Always good to see the family. Oh, we're going for that spot. Number 1, that is, oh, yeah, family, we believe. That's what the cult of the Raptor Freak is about, is positive belief and allowing the opportunity and the possibility for amazing things to happen. like a 2019 championship that nobody thought could happen. When the season was going on, why can't a 2022 championship come and be all the sweeter? Rookie Scotty Barnes winning a championship his rookie year. He wants that legacy. Trust me, he wants it. Trust me, he wants it. They want to win. That's all they want to do. That's all they give a shit about. Monique's saying free throws are getting better with the wins. Yeah, the free throws have been much better this past week. As long as they're right around 80% night in, night out, I'll be very happy. They can't be like shooting 50 or 60% from the free throw lines. Really, really bad. Oh, Monty's saying, LeBron won a chip in LA as a GM. Okay, I got what you're saying now. Yeah, did he really though? The NBA kind of handed him a chip in the middle of a pandemic when maybe they shouldn't have been playing. They had an unfair advantage, which was documented also. We've talked about that. The reason why Miami and the Lakers were in the finals is because they were working out the whole time during the pandemic when all the rest of the other NBA teams were sitting at home trying to isolate. These motherfuckers were privately working out together during that time. Yeah, that's part of it. The family's saying, look at how Kyle Lowry talks about the Raps and look at what Vince Carter does night and day. Greatest of all time, dickhead. That's a good example. Is Kyle still has immense love for this team. Even DeMar, for all the reasons he could have for hating the Raptors, he still loves us, y'all. He's said that we're like that girlfriend, that ex-girlfriend that he just can't get over. And that's who we are to him. And that's not like that with Vince. Vince got the fuck out of here and he embraced being in the NBA in the US and being on so many different teams. He tried to erase his connection to us. And the crazy thing is he can't, because the Raptors, that Vince Carter being on the Raptors was the most important time of his entire NBA career. I don't give a shit. You can talk about New Jersey, try and say that was an important time because they went to the finals or whatever bullshit, but they didn't do fucking shit when he was there. And did he ever win a championship? I don't remember. Did he win a championship? I don't think he did. So he played so many different years in this league, and still his rookie years, his years in Toronto are the most important, most influential part of his career, whether he likes it or not. So quit dissing us and quit putting us down and discounting your own history, Vince. You're going to get older and wiser at some point. You may realize the folly of some of the shit that you've done with how you treated the Raptors franchise. But people like me, we don't forget. And some people can be forgiven and forget for you, but I don't necessarily totally do that. It did help that you did fucking finally retire, and I don't have to see your ass out there. But now that you're doing announcing and you're doing the same kind of shit in the broadcast booth, fuck you, Vince Carter. And yeah, I'll say that on a Raptors content channel. I will. There's a reason why the three jerseys on my wall over here are not 15. There's 14, 20, and 13 from that same era. And those guys had the heart, and they still are with this team. They are still a part of the Raptors family. And Vince is not, y'all. He isn't. Don't kid yourself. He's not. So one of the things I want to say, you brought up Kyle Lowry, is Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan have been doing commercials lately. There's a new commercial that's going to be on during the Super Bowl tomorrow with Kyle in it in the Canadian market. And DeMar's doing commercials now. And now they've interacted on Instagram. I saw DeMar say something to Kyle that they're now actors, and that they want to do a new version of the Bad Boys movie series with Kyle and DeMar starring in it instead of Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Just imagine that movie, that these dudes now, these former Raptors who are still good standing family Raptors, are going to go out and become actors now? Could you? I'd watch that movie. That'd be badass to see a movie starring DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry as like the Bad Boys, like that same movie franchise. Oh man, that'd be so good. But yeah, they're joking around about like that. Like DeMar said, we're going to make a movie now because they're actors now. Oh, so hilarious. I love it. Tom Duke. Thanks, Monique. Didn't know Grunwald had retired. Yeah, that was just recently. That's why I said I thought he had retired when I first started bringing him up. Monty Python said, I really, really like Summer Lowe's idea of Gary for most improved player. Genius. Yeah, I do too. Summer, I don't know if we can trademark that for you. I know you're not probably the first person that thought of this, but you're definitely the first person that's brought it up in our channel here and talking about it. And I really like it. Peter Cam, good morning. Let's go Raptors. Yes, Peter. Thanks for coming in here, man. We're here every morning live from somewhere in between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern time every day, either reacting or previewing the game coming up. We're previewing Denver tonight. We feel real good if we can mimic some of the stuff the Celtics did against them last night. They're playing on a back-to-back, a second night, and we're going to be rested. So I feel real good about tonight. Of course, Denver's a completely different team without Jamal Murray in the lineup, and that's something we got to realize tonight, that, you know, they're not exactly at the same height as Golden State and Phoenix, as like they should be if they were full strength, that they really are kind of a middle of the pack Western Conference team at this point. So it's very equitable where we are and they are, exactly, because they're the 6th seed in the West right now, as we're the 6th in the East. Good to see you, Peter. I hope you'll come every morning, here every morning. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscriptions so that I can get to the next level of things in YouTube. So if you're enjoying my stream today, please click that red subscribe button and help me get to my goals. All right, let's see. Monty's saying we need to push Gary for most improved as a fan base. However, will end up costing us more in the end. Yeah, that's the double-edged sword. It's like we're saying, this whole thing about negotiations, Clutch Sports, Masai Ujiri. He's gonna have to ask for more money if he gets most improved players. So it's a good either way. We win either way. We want no lose scenarios where we win either way. He gets it, that's great, but we have to pay him more. He doesn't get it, well, then maybe we don't have to pay him as much. So it's always looking at the brighter side of whatever the outcome is. Summer, good. Let's see. She's saying, Monty, he could make a second team all defensive with his steals. Yeah, I think that's true too. That's another way. Summer's just like a PR guy for JR right now. I'm starting calling him JR because that's what Gary Trent Sr. calls him. He calls him JR. You say, JR, he's doing it right now. He's killing it in the NBA right now. He's on fire, JR. So call Gary JR. They call him JR, just like J.R. Ewing for Dallas. Dun, 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 dun. I'm doing a lot of old TV shows right now. I'm showing my age. Somebody knew it was the Incredible Hulk theme earlier, and now maybe you know my little rendition of Dallas. Also, I did Monty Python's Flying Circus today. This is a jukebox day. All right, let's see. Monty's saying Gary Moneybags Trent. Oh man, I don't know if I like that nickname for him. Hopefully not too bad. Sugar Ray, good morning, Sugar Ray. Always good to see you, man. Bro, we bet on you, man. Did you watch Masai yesterday? I can listen to him talk for hours. Yes, Masai is so nice. It's a 45-minute press conference. He didn't seem like he wanted to go anywhere. He's like ready to answer every question and stuff like that. It sucks that they don't have the microphone on the interviewers so we can hear their questions, but still. But it was funny. He did the 45 minutes. He fucked up with saying the tank word, and then he was like, I won't say it again. And then as soon as he was done, boy, did he get away from that table quick. He jumped up and ran right out of there. It was hilarious. But yeah, it's good stuff. Gee, unfortunately, a lot of newer fans sound like the media. Well, this is the thing. We parrot what we hear. Like, we think we hear experts like Dick Jefferson, and he knows what he's talking about. So we parrot it. So there's other fans that are getting their sources from mainly U.S.-based media. The Canadian media is a lot more fair to the team now. Like, Michael Grange was an asshole like 5 years ago. But now he's come around. He's very much more fair and balanced about how he treats the team. And he's much more respected by me at this point. So it's like that kind of thing. Our Canadian media treats our team with a little bit more respect since the championship. They're not talking down and playing. But now the U.S. media is still doing it. And then our fans hear things that the U.S. media says on like Inside the NBA or TNT or whatever, and they parrot it. And sometimes it's not very informed. Because once again, if we know anything about U.S. NBA people, they don't usually watch the Raptors. Because first of all, they're not on TV, and they only see them when they come and play teams that they cover. And then it's all of a sudden they have like this realization, this epiphany. They're like, whoa, the Raptors are actually really good. Like you hear it in the other team's announcers. If you watch their streams and stuff, you hear them all of a sudden have these moments of like realization. Whoa, this team has actually got a lot of length and maybe a tough team to deal with in the playoffs. You know, they start saying shit like that. So it really is that sometimes the fans are parroting just bullshit that they hear from the U.S. media. Like I said, there's like a slant, there's an objective for them to put us down and maybe make us doubt ourselves. It's gaslighting, y'all. It's the epitome of gaslighting. The U.S. media is gaslighting us. Don't let them gaslight you and start believing their stupid ass shit. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Let's see. What else is you guys saying here? Peter's saying, I hate that guy called RJ. Such a hater. Yeah, Dick Jefferson. He looks like a dick. Like his body, his bald head looks like a fucking penis. That's why I call him Dick Jefferson. His name's not Richard. He should be Dick. Dick Jefferson with his shitty ass drawn on tattoos. Yeah, Dick Jefferson. Monty's saying, but players like coming here because they see their efforts are rewarded. Players get paid here. There's so many benefits to playing here. You got Papa Masai looking out for you. You got you're going to get good development. You get better as a player here. You can make more money other places like Norman, like Kyle, like all these different guys get paydays when they come through here. And like Chev says, everybody wants to steal our dudes. Once they come through our system, everybody wants Raptor people on their teams, the Clippers, Orlando, all these other teams, Chicago. They have a whole bunch of our old players on there because they're trying to mimic parts of our system and things that we're doing. And yeah, players do like playing here because there's all kinds of great, cool benefits. You get to be buddies with Drake. You get to be in a world-class city. You get to fucking have really cool shit. Like the Raptors have top level everything. Like whether it's whatever they're wearing, whatever the products they get to use behind the scenes to help them with the sports medicine, they got top-notch everything. So yeah, you want to go play for a team that really has their shit together. Because you want to go play for another team that has all kinds of problems and you can tell from the outside? No. And that's what I'm saying. It's like the myth of nobody wanting to play in Toronto, free agents or whatever, is over. People are clamoring and scratching to get on our team at this point. And Justin Champagnie is a good example of it. He could have picked 12 other NBA teams, but he picked us, that we were the one that he wanted. So let's keep going. Monique saying, Tom, I've been with MLSE since 2015, but a fan since 1995. That's right. Yeah, Monique is original. She's just like me. We're older. I don't know how old Monique is exactly, but I'm in my 40s. And, right from the beginning, I was there. I was 20 years old when the Raptors started. And through my whole adult life, they've been pretty much my one singular main sports franchise that I love. This is number one. There's never been like a baseball team I love more, or hockey or football or another NBA team. As soon as the Raptors came in, they were number one on my list, and they were just going to be head and shoulders above every other team that I root for, no matter what, no matter how bad they were. And yeah, Monique is officially with MLSE and is involved in their organization. So I'm really happy and proud that she likes to frequent my stream because she's a bona fide real one and she is a part of the organization. And y'all should check out her stuff. Like I always say, check out Monique in any kind of avenue where she's at, whether it's on Facebook with her write-ups after the games or her YouTube channel or any kind of content that she's making in conjunction with the Raptors and MLSE. So yeah. All right. Gee, Dick Jefferson is an idiot. He just lit a fire under the team. Well, I hope that maybe he gave us some locker room fodder, put it up on the wall or something like that. But he's putting us down. He's not putting down the team. The team's going to believe what they're going to believe anyway. He's just insulting us. He's insulting Canada. He's telling us that we're crazy people because we love our team and we believe in them. We're delusional. Oh my gosh. I think, yeah, he's going to get some reality for him. Oh yeah. Monty Python, if you come here and perform, you will be compensated as such. So we organically attract winners. We do it the right way. We don't, what we did with Gary last year was kind of in between. He hadn't really totally proven himself for us yet, but we paid him ahead of time. But guys like Fred and Pascal, they got paid after they proved themselves. That's the thing. You got to do it. You know that the carrot is in front of you. If you do the work, you'll get the carrot. And that is really true because other places there's no guarantees. You could get the rug pulled out from underneath you. You're doing really well. And then all of a sudden you're shipped off to Sacramento. And you're like, what the fuck? That kind of stuff, Monique saying, yeah, did you see Kyle's acting skills? He's going to be a good actor. Kyle's got a good charisma to him. He's a good looking guy. He would be a great actor. Like, honestly. Now, the guys in the Jif commercial right now, they're pretty bad. Like Scotty and Gary, that peanut butter commercial they're doing right now is like a little cringe. And even Nick Nurse on Murdoch Mysteries, that wasn't the best acting, but he did okay. He was suitable enough. But yeah, I could see Kyle actually doing pretty good, and even DeMar, because these guys have life experience and they got charisma to themselves. And it would be really fun to see if they actually do anything in the acting world, if they're just bullshitting or just having fun with it. But I would see like a Hollywood producer would be like, let's put some money on this and try this out. Make that NBA crossover. Don't just do Space Jam 2 with LeBron. Let's do Bad Boys NBA style with Kyle and DeMar. I'm all for it. It'll be awesome. Monty's saying this organization is just filled with integrity, top to bottom. It truly is. It's just the best of the best GM, the best president, the best coach, the best medical staff, the best rookie, the best program makers, the best popcorn makers. I've said it over and over again, top to bottom, just best people all around. I can go and introduce you to like the lower level people, the people that are involved in like ushering and doing things like that. I have friends that are in this organization that I can show you just how top notch each one of those individuals are in what they do, whether it's Miss Sadie up in the 300 stand, in the pizza stand, selling concessions, who's worked for the team since the 80s, or my friend Thuzy, who's an usher, my other friend Tony and Ivan, all these different ushers. I even used to know the ice staff, the guys who do the conversion to the hockey rink to the basketball court. They used to drink with Stevie Roots and I at Boosters next to the Maple Leaf Gardens, and I'd sit there and listen to all their old stories about the Leafs and the heyday and the good times in hockey and stuff like that. And stuff, you know, there's good people at every level in every kind of job there, whether it's John Attilia, the security guy. You know what I'm talking about? That dude with the dark hair who's always lurking around the court. That dude is a badass. He's like the Chuck Norris for the team. Like, if you come near the Raptors, he will fuck you up. He will break your arm in one move like that. Like, he's a badass. John Attilia, the personal security for the Raptors, every single aspect. Herbie, all of them. Keel, Four Corners, every single part of this organization is top notch. You're exactly right. Let's see. G said, I told Kyle him and DeMar should start a prankster show after they retire. Yeah, that would be good too, man. Do like an Ashton Kutcher kind of thing, the NBA style, with NBA players involved. That would be awesome. Like the Post-it notes all over the fucking cars and stuff, or popcorn filled in the car. That kind of shit they've been doing. Yeah, that's fun stuff. Monty Python is saying, we don't make dumb, costly trades at the expense of depleting resources, avalanche for those who deserve it. Talk about classy. Yeah, we didn't make any rash moves. I like what Masai said yesterday about the trade deadline. He's like, he doesn't believe in it. He thinks it's so fucked up that there's this arbitrary time in the day that you have to make a decision by 3 o'clock. Oh my gosh, stress out, because he doesn't work that way. He doesn't like that. But the reason that it's interesting for him is that it allows all kinds of desperation from other teams at that deadline. He get opportunity just before it. But he likened the trade deadline to holding a toy gun to your head and like, do I do something before 3? Do I do something before 3? It's hilarious. Like, I love that that's his mentality about it. It's like so calm, cool, and collected. It's like, yeah, just because it's a trade deadline, it's an arbitrary thing, doesn't mean you have to rush or do something right at that moment. It's like you can actually capitalize on people's mistakes in those kind of pressure situations when they feel like they have to panic and do something. Then that's the fun. That's probably what half the calls that Bobby Webster was getting in the last 15 minutes of the trade deadline was, oh, you're willing to do that now? And then he's like, really got to think about it. He's like, they are really getting desperate. Holy crap. Like, we really need to think about this, that kind of stuff, instead of him calling people and trying desperately to get deals done for us. He wasn't doing that. He was taking calls and listening to the desperation coming towards him. And I love that. I love that. You don't ever want to come from a place of desperation in your decision-making as an NBA team, for sure. Let's see. G saying, do you know whom Gary's inspiration is? King Bolton. Watch his story. Very inspirational, and they're best friends. All right, I'm going to check this out. I always love learning new wrinkles about different players and stuff like that. King Bolton. All right, I'm going to check him out immediately after I'm done with this, G. Thanks for bringing that up. Monty's saying Michael Grange, Elliot Friedman, ugliest dudes in show business. Oh, man, let's not put them down for how they look and stuff like that. You know, I don't like a lot of the Canadian sports media people that are hockey first that have kind of tried to do basketball also, they kind of piss me off. Like Brad Fay isn't exactly the right guy for hosting the NBA on whatever channel he's doing, because he's been a TSN or like a hockey guy more or a baseball guy more. I want basketball people, solely basketball people involved in basketball broadcasts. And Elliot Friedman is not a basketball person. So I don't look to him for any kind of like basketball kind of stuff. But Grange is a basketball person. He played, and he's pretty reliable. And like I said, he's not taking pot shots at the team when they fail anymore, like he used to. The team would have a bad game, and he'd write all this shit that was just negative and awful and putting them down. Now, when they lose, they don't do well, he doesn't kick them while they're down. And I appreciate that, Michael Grange. Personally, from me, that's actually better. You're going to get a better following. You're going to have us feel better about listening to you when you're not just kicking us when we're down. Because you got to talk to the fan base of the Raptors. We are fans, and we want this team to succeed. And don't give us media that is pointing out stuff like Masai's going to go to Washington. All of a sudden, we don't want shit like that, especially when it's totally unfounded, obviously, and stuff like that. But that's part of the reason why we hated Michael Grange for a while, is because he wrote that piece about Masai leaving to go to Washington. And all the players hated him for it too. Like, he still has some lingering animosity from different people when he comes into the press conference and he asks a question. Sometimes Nick is not very nice to Michael, and Fred can be very prickly towards Michael Grange if you watch real closely. It's pretty funny, actually. Okay, you're saying Jordan Bolton is his name. Okay, it's not King Bolton. I'm gonna check him out. I'll check him out. Sugar Ray saying, "Oh my God, Chev? I was going to tell you about him." Yeah, I love Chev. I would watch Chev for a couple years. I don't watch him currently because I don't want to copycat him. I want our voices to be original and separate. I don't want to say things that he's saying. It may be that I'm saying the same kind of things that he's saying. I'm pretty sure I know what he's saying right now. He's saying, "This motherfucking league is on notice. Motherfuckers, you better be ready. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, when we come, we're going to show you. Yeah, you don't even know what you're messing with. Masai is a gangster. Nick Nurse is a mad genius. We're going to kill you on defense. All you pretenders." I know he's talking so much mad shit for the Raptors right now, cussing and laughing and saying all the cool shit he says. I love Chef. I highly recommend him. And, yeah, I know who Chev is. He's good. He's good. Monique saying, "Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Jordan Bolton." All right, I'm going to definitely check this out. You guys are showing me a blind spot I didn't know about Gary, and I definitely want to know about it now. Justin posted a picture of him in a Raptors jersey smiling. Guess he got over the snow. Justin's a weird one. Like, honestly, he's hard for me to read. I know that he's a winner and he just wants to win, but he's got a real edge to him too. Like, he really does. Like, he's a straight up out of control baller. So, yeah, he's a weird one. I like Justin. I'm really glad he's on our team. And, it's too bad that he hasn't been with the main roster recently, but it's really good he's getting a lot of time on the 905. Oh, yeah. G saying, "Isn't he amazing?" Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Monique's saying, "Yes, I also have a spinal cord injury, cerebral palsy, CP." Yes, Monique, you're friends with my girlfriend who has CP also. Actually, I know Adriana. That's actually my girlfriend, Monique. And you know what? We deal with epilepsy and CP in our relationship all the time. And I just try and be as supportive and awesome towards her. She's involved in the Purple Walk for epilepsy here in Toronto every March and stuff like that. And that's actually, like she said, when she met me, she saw that we had one shared friend, and it was you, Monique. And that's why you actually helped me get trust with her, that I knew you before I knew her. Adrienne is actually my girlfriend. So, yeah, there you go. Monique, my nephew frequents Holland Bloorview, and I have had the pleasure to meet many amazing, strong individuals with CP. Yes. CP is a tough thing to live with. When I was very young, growing up in Tallahassee, I had a neighbor that lived across the street who was kind of like my second dad. He drove me to school, to elementary school when I was very young, and he had CP. He had a very, very strong case of CP, and he drove cars and did everything. So, like, right away, like, my second dad was somebody who had cerebral palsy. So it was like I was introduced to that whole world and what is what it entails very early, and saw like this guy's just like my dad. There's nothing, he can do everything that he does and stuff like that, but he has CP. And it's a tough thing. I know Adriana struggles with it in different ways. She has it on her left side really bad. And thank you, Monique, for us sharing the Raptors bond. You brought the love of my life into my life, and that you were actually a part of that happening, because she saw the shared friend that you were between us when we first became Facebook friends. So it's really good. And yes, definitely follow Monique's journey through her life. It was really amazing stories, like inspirational stories about people overcoming things and becoming who they want to be in life. And I love that. I love that so much. You are a huge hero to me, Monique. You really are. Let's see. Gee, yes, I will. How? Where can I find you in your story? Well, listen, Monique, if you can put it in the comments. Put a link to whatever you want to show them as far as your story and stuff like that, your background. Put it in the comments so everybody who watches this stream today can just watch it and find it. I don't know which one you want to put up, or I'd put it up myself. So let's see. Kareem, how has Osmos? All right, has Osmos replaced Powell with Gary Trent Jr. yet? Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any Osmos commercials right now. Fred was doing it a little bit too for a little bit there. The big Raptor commercials are the Jif commercials, like the peanut butter commercials with like Fred and Pascal, and now Gary and Scotty. And then like Chris has a bunch of Slim Jim stuff that's coming out and different things like that. So it's always fun to see the Raptors in different silly little commercials and stuff like that. But I don't know if Osmos has replaced Powell. We had this fun discussion at the beginning of the season, Andrew and I, about how we would do things superstitiously to help the team. And one of the things was I was eating Osmos before every single game to try and help them, like a couple of years ago, because Norman in the commercials, and I got so sick and it messed me up like with my diet after a while. But the one I'm doing right now is almost every game night now, I'm eating from the Real Jerk. I'm ordering from the Real Jerk that's around the corner from my house, where they filmed that Rihanna Drake video. Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about, the Real Jerk. And I get jerk chicken every night on game night right now. That's my superstition right now to help the Raptors. It's working right now on this win streak. So I'm going to do it tonight. I'll be ordering from the Real Jerk and getting me some jerk chicken from the Drake video, Drake Rihanna video location where they shot that video. So that's like a whole tie-in to the Raptors and the superstition I have. So I'll be getting that tonight to make sure we get 9. Oh, yeah. Oh man, yeah, I'm so glad you guys are showing the love towards Monique right now. Honestly, she deserves it every single day from Raptor Nation, because she's a real one. She is a Raptor super fan, bona fide. Oh yeah, check her out on Facebook, guys. I know she's on there, and she has a lot of stuff on Facebook. That's where she does her write-ups after every game. She has such good observations, points out different stats, talks about what's going on with the game and what she liked. And I read it it's just mandatory reading for me after every single game to see what Monique's saying. Yes, I will. How? Where can I find your story? Yep, like we're saying, we're going to put it down below. Let's see. Monique saying the game after the All-Star game always worries me. Actually, that game too, but also tonight kind of worries me in a way too, because in a way we talk about this game first back after a road trip, like that Portland game that was a disaster recently in that first half where we were down 64-34 after the first half. This game tonight is kind of like that. We're coming back for just one game in a building where we may have only like 500 fans inside of it. So this is a dangerous game today. We need to make sure that we come with the right energy and we don't have a first game back at home kind of let down after being on the road. But I agree with you. This is the same thing on the other side. But it's going to be a little weird because we're going to play I think we play Charlotte and the Atlanta right away afterwards, and we've had good success against them recently. So, but this game tonight could be that same kind of thing. All right, let's see. You guys are laughing and smiling. Much respect to Monique. And G saying, Chris Slim Jim captions are so wrong. Oh, yeah. He's writing some funny stuff in the captions. Yeah, that's right. I don't want to talk about it right now. All right. Wow. 2.5 hours just for a preview. Lots of great views and likes. I really appreciate y'all. Continue to like, comment, and subscribe, please. If you haven't subscribed already, but you're already watching me regularly, just hit that button too. It's going to help me with my metrics on YouTube and allow me to do more stuff on this platform that it could be really cool and fun stuff. So yeah, man. Monty's saying, love that jerk chicken, man. Oh my gosh, me too, man. I'm huge jerk chicken guy. One of my favorite places, my old bosses, Rasta Pasta in Kensington Market. Mary and Magnus are good friends of mine, the owners, and I love them. They're part of my family too. And so go to Rasta Pasta if you're near Kensington Market. They have absolutely the best jerk chicken in Toronto. If they were on DoorDash, I'd get them to send me the stuff, but they're not. So Real Jerk is getting my business right now. All right, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's go, Raptors. Let's contain Jokic. Let's get those turnovers. Let's get out on the fast break, get some easy points, and just outscore them. And can't let them get too many three-pointers. Not too much success from any of the other Nugget players other than Jokic. We know he's going to do some stuff. But those other guys, we don't want them to do nothing. We want Aaron Gordon to feel real frustrated. We want the rest of those guys, Jeff Green, whoever else, not to do jack shit. So we can really, really stymie them and stifle them. We'll do all right tonight. Yeah, and Monty's saying, don't forget to tell them, heavy on the oxtail gravy, please. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Thank you. Let's go. We want nuggets. We want nuggets. We want nuggets. Nuggets.